It is the 60th edition of the Labor Day Classic between the Blue Bombers and the Roughriders, one of the biggest games on the CFL calendar. And if history has taught us anything, it's that this one does not disappoint. The last three meetings overall decided by just 2 points in every game. And today we add another chapter to this incredible rivalry.
Roughriders is having an MOP-type year and just 2 touchdowns shy of passing for 200 for his career. He hasn't fared too well against the Bombers in his career, 4-10 record. But what happens in the past means nothing on Labor Day Classic.
You know who doesn't care about stats? This guy right here, Zach Caleros, only concerned with winning his run game, #1 in the CFL. They haven't got the ball downfield as much as they would like. Let's see if his main man, Dalton Schultz, back in lineup helps that out.
And here's the muscle of this Riders offense, A.J. Ouellette. Sit third in the CFL with 713 rushing yards. He's a tone setter for this team. It's Labor Day, I bet. He is ready.
Well, just behind A.J. in rushing is Brady O with 550. He's coming off his best game of the season, 137 rushing yards, 73 receiving yards, 1 TD. He now needs just 133 to reach 5,000 for his career. A milestone only 6 other Blue Bombers have reached. Milt, did you reach that one? I feel like you reached every milestone for the Blue Bombers. Not rushing, though?
I rushed for about 10,000 yards, too. They just didn't put it in the stat sheet, so.
You know what, everyone watching, there you go, Blue Bombers, a new stat for Milt Stegall. Back alongside Enoch Mwamba, Davis Sanchez, Milt Stegall. We're a little bit excited. You know why?
Yes.
It is the greatest weekend, other than Grey Cup weekend, I would say, on the CFL schedule. Cannot wait for the opinions of these three. But first, let us get to the one and only Britt Dorton. I'll tell you this. Opening weekend, I had the privilege of going into Pill Country, and it was something special. I mean, special is one thing. The fans are a little over the top, but you gotta love it. And here she is now, and I commend these fans, too, because we have kickoff in approximately half an hour time. They are ready. They are set. And Britt, as I said, it is Labor Day. We are so thrilled here up on the panel, and I know you, too, being from Saskatchewan, this is a huge day for yourself.
Absolutely, Kane. I will tell you, the fans miss you. They told me they want you to return to Pill Country.
No, they're happy to have you, Britt.
A little bit. Oh, thank you. And if I was a better singer, Kate, I'd do a rendition of Phil Collins' In the Air tonight, because you said it. When it's Labor Day weekend, you can feel it in the air. And Trevor Harris told us that. He said he couldn't go anywhere this week without fans stopping him and saying, hey, you better win this game here today. We don't care about anything else. However, maybe it's Zach Caleros' game to win, because he has an impressive 7-1 record as a starter on Labor Day. One of those was with the Riders in 2018. Now he's going to have some reinforcements on offense tonight with the return of Dalton Schoen, as you mentioned, returning after 6 games and dealing with that knee injury. He did tell me it's a luxury to have him back in the lineup. Unfortunately, no Jared Stearns, though, in the lineup, dealing with the shoulder injury. And if Rider Nation maybe feels a little extra buzz, it might be because of the return of Joe, who re-signed with the Green and White after his stint down south. And Kate, I better wrap things up, because not only am I getting poured on, but these fans are having a great time. And let's get to kickoff, right?
Oh, one guy's already got his tarp off, ready to go. You gotta love it. All right, so taking a look at how these rivals have fared over their past 5 meetings. Winnipeg has won 3 of the last 4, but the Riders have won 17 more times overall. They have scored 400 more points, 23 more touchdowns, and accumulated over 2,000 more net yards. But look, as we said, it's Labor Day. Absolutely anything can happen. And for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and their offense, they couldn't be happier to have a guy like Dalton Schoen back in this lineup. I mean, they have needed him at times this year. And we were talking about this before the show. I mean, for a guy to step in and be, automatically back to where he was before, probably not realistic, but I think just knowing, in your mental state that you have him back is a big step, Chess.
Yeah, and then this Stearns being out, Nick Dembski was, questionable all week. So we have a guy now in Schoen that they have the relationship. I'm certain, to your point, Kate, that he's not going to be the Dalton Schoen that he was. It's going to take time to get that confidence back. He's had, some serious injuries. It takes time to get that confidence back. But and in regards to rapport, relationship, look, this offense, Zach's not worried about it. It's the one good thing about having a veteran, a guy that's accomplished as much as Zach. I'm sure he's not sweating it. It's not in the back of his mind. But when it comes to passing touchdowns, they're 7th in the league. 30-plus completions, getting the ball downfield. They're 7th in the league. They're not the explosive offense you would think they'd be. Schoen will bring at least, to start with, a security blanket, someone he has rapport with, he can hit on the big second downs they might need.
Well, the thing is, too, is it changes it up for Sask's defense as well, too. I mean, having 83 back in the lineup there, I mean, that obviously changes how you game plan for this one. When it comes to the Saskatchewan Roughriders, I mean, for them to be at home, this is a big thing for them because they were absolutely humbled in Calgary. Trevor Harris, he was 15 and 23. He had the 2 TDs, but he also had the 2 interceptions. And, I mean, I think that was kind of a benchmark game for a lot of people, but if they're able to bounce back in this one, it would be monstrous for them.
Absolutely. I mean, you look at this Saskatchewan Roughriders team. This team refuses to lose to anybody that's not named the Stampeders in the CFL, and they do an amazing job of playing together, except when they play with the Calgary Stampeders. So what is the formula to beat the Saskatchewan Roughriders? Well, you got to put up points. They had 32 points the second time they played against them, Calgary did, and then 24. But also, you got to stop this team. Trevor Harris is running an efficient offense right now, but when he plays against the Calgary Stampeders, he averages below 65%. And so you have to play great defense. You absolutely have to score points as well, which is a tall task because when you play the Saskatchewan team, especially at home, they allow only 95 points this season, and which is the lowest in the league. So it's going to be a tough environment. But this is a bounce-back game for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and they're willing to show the whole league that, hey, that wasn't really us last week.
You know, too, as we see these shots coming into the players warming up, I mean, they have to know in their minds, this is Labor Day. I mean, all 3 of you played in the Labor Day games, and you know that there's something a little extra on the line. And particularly, you know, you might have a friend or someone on the other side, too. That is all lost on this day.
Yeah. All that friendly stuff. You could be playing against your wife, against your mother. It doesn't matter. It's nothing personal. It's all business. And one player I know who's approaching it like that is Jamarcus Hardrick. He played 7 years with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and one of his best friends, maybe not even a friend, maybe more like a brother, Willie Jefferson. That's who he's going to be going against. And I'm sure Willie Jefferson saw that film last week, and he saw how the Calgary Stampeders were able to get at Trevor Harris, and I'm sure Hardrick is saying, now it's personal now. I got to protect my quarterback because they know if they can protect their quarterback, their chances of winning this game are pretty good. Coming into that game last week, they had only given up 9 sacks. Big reason why they were able to be 8-1. But now, that last game, they gave up 4 sacks. They couldn't protect Trevor Harris, and they didn't win the game. So Willie Jefferson is looking at like, yeah, you are my brother, but I'm going to try to put you on your back so I can get to Trevor Harris.
I would say they were exploited last week, too, that offensive line of Sask. You talked about them dominating the line of scrimmage. They've been excellent for Trevor. They got exploited last week. Calgary, when they got one-on-ones, they were doing what they wanted to do up front. And that's
exploited is not even the word, Davis. They scored as many touchdowns, that's offense in Saskatchewan, as we did sitting here on the panel. That's 0. They got to come out
scored
tonight.
Touchdowns, did I? Finally. I knew it was going to come. Meanwhile, who loves the spotlight? We know that Willie Jefferson loves it. Almost a comic book hero, you could say. He currently leads the league in pass knockdowns this season and hoping to add to that total today. As mentioned, he has been fantastic in the Labor Day Classic. 6 sacks in the last 7 games. And someone who, unfortunately, doesn't like any of this stats? Well, of course, we know that the faithful at Mosaic today and Gainer the Gopher.
He's back there.
creeping.
You can't get away from him. You can't escape him.
Come on down to Winnipeg, baby.
It's Willie, and he throws him down. 75th sack in the career of Willie Jefferson.
The ball pops out, and it's on the ground, picked up by Person. Touchdown Bombers.
Well, you knew Willie was due for a big play.
He only had the ball in his hands for about 2.5 seconds before Willie J burst through and forced the fumble.
When you have a running back like A.J. Ouellette, you know you have someone back there that's dependable, that can get going.
A.J. Ouellette, how about this?
Look at this.
He's going to get down to the 20, looking for a stiff arm, gets away. Touchdown, A.J. Ouellette.
This is everything that the Saskatchewan Roughriders wanted to have when they brought A.J. Ouellette over there.
Ouellette cuts back to the 10. 5. Nobody will stop him. In his return to Toronto, Thor's in the end zone.
Hand the ball off to A.J. Ouellette as the game plan, and look at the results.
He is one of the most recognizable players in the CFL. His Thor-like locks blowing through the wind as he fights for yards downfield. But it turns out there is so much more than AJ Ouellette, the football player. Our Matthew Shinati sat down with the Riders running back to discuss what he's been through over the past few years. And AJ wanted to be open and honest, hoping that it would help others that are going through troubling times.
You've had a lot of success in the CFL, and you have become not just a fixture for the Argos, but now certainly with the Roughriders, and you've built a reputation. But how much time have you taken to kind of invest in yourself?
Every year, I kind of, especially at the end of the football season, because football season, it converts a guy's mind. We're trying to be the nastiest, meanest person out there. And in the off season, I can really sit down and be like, all right, who is the man, like, who do I want to be when this football is all over? I'm always trying to learn. This year it's been business, trying to start this nonprofit. I learned about myself, what I was missing in the educational system growing up. Life skills through education. I was not taught how to manage my emotions, how to be a man when I need to, but also ask for help when I need it. And I don't want the next generation to struggle with that as well. And it always seems to be the athletes and football players mainly, because we're supposed to be the tough, masculine guys. So been looking into that. That's why I started this nonprofit, this homeschool co-op, so these kids can learn life skills and all that.
One of the most touching conversations I've had with the players, and I think back to a few years ago, you and I were talking, and you mentioned that you were going through a transition and a change in your life as you were going through a divorce. What did that teach you? Like, what did that teach you about yourself? And how important have those kind of moments of vulnerability become for you to kind of understand the person that you want to be and how valuable it is to be a certain kind of person without your helmet on?
Yeah, no matter how big and how successful you can get, how strong, life's still going to kick you. You got to be able to mentally be strong enough to deal with it. I feel like we all hide behind muscles and accolades and all that, but if you're not mentally strong, you're going to be kicked down. And I got put through a dark period during that time. Like, I wasn't happy with myself. I wasn't happy with decisions I've made in the past. But football, the mindset with it, allowed me to, all right, you sucked at this, let's fix it, let's figure out what we need to improve on. And that's what the off seasons are for now.
Where are you right now? Like, how does AJ Ouellette feel about himself, the person now?
Look in the mirror and I'm happy. So we're improving. There's still areas in life I struggle with. My big one is not letting outside noise impact my thoughts and my confidence in my game. You know, professional sports, you're going to have all those fans that are in your messaging saying all the great stuff. And then you have the ones that send the hateful stuff. And for some reason, so many athletes only look at the hateful stuff. So right now I'm training my mind into accepting the positive ones and just ignoring the hateful ones.
Certainly some great vulnerability there from AJ. So James Butler still leads all rushers, just 132 yards away from the 1,000 mark this season. Dedrick Mills behind him at 738. And then the two backs we will feature today. So you just saw AJ Ouellette with 713 on the season, followed by Brady O at 550, coming off his best game of the season. Problem is, now he's at Mosaic, facing the best run defense in the league. They're giving up just 76 yards a game. Milton, how do they slow down Brady Oliveira today?
Well, I think early on they will slow him down, but if I'm the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, I'm going to continue feeding him. Over the last 3 games, he's averaged like 20 touches of the ball. And that's not only the ground, of course, that's through the air, and it's been productive. They've thrown the ball to him 24 times in the last 3 games. You know, 23 have been completions. So there's a way to get him involved in the game. It may not be on the ground. We know how tough this Rough Rider defense is against the run, but you have to get Brady involved if you want to win this game. Like I say, early on, they may stop him, but you got to keep giving the ball. You have to.
This defense they're built for this. This is what they do. They stop the run game, and you're anticipating Brady Oliveira having a challenge and a tough time, especially in this big game in Regina, trying to run the ball tonight. I'm looking at Jameer Thurman, the captain of that defense, who's going to be extremely busy tonight. It's going to be interesting. I talked to head coach Corey Mace right before the game, and he was telling me, Enoch, I said, hey, how do you handle Brady Oliveira, coach? How are you handling him, especially after the game that he had last week? He said, Enoch, honestly, tackle by population and throw up some prayers. So that's exactly what they're going to do tonight, but he's going to throw a bunch of people at Brady Oliveira to stop this defense, and he's going to try to make Zach
You talked to him before the game, and the game hadn't started yet. That's impressive.
A few hours ago. That's my man. But he said he's going to try and definitely stop Brady Oliveira, and it's going to be up to Zach Collaros and the weapons in the air to try and see what they do.
Yeah, I mean, they saw last week, watching the film, Winnipeg certainly saw big plays against that Sask defense. Now, we just heard Marcus Sales is up, which is huge in their secondary. He was out last week. That's a big getting him back is huge back there. They got him and Campbell solid back there. But that will be key for me. Obviously, it's Brady the run game, but it's the big plays down the field. Because Sask is going to get their shots down the field. Against this, I think Sask against this Winnipeg defense can get shots down the field. On the other side, though, can Winnipeg get the big plays down the field? We talked about the receiving core. We talked about Schoen. Obviously, Dembski a little nicked up. Let's see if they can get a couple big plays. But you're right, guys. It starts with loading Brady, soften him up with the run, and then taking the shots down the field.
If you can't keep up, Brady, it's going to be hard to keep him involved.
I can't believe you have the connections you do. 5 minutes. Hi, Coach. Just wondering about the big Labor Day Classic today.
Don't get me and him in trouble. We talked hours ago.
Sure you did, Enoch. Here's Britt Dort standing by with Brady Oliveira.
Brady, your team coming off a big win last week. How do you build on that?
Yeah, it was a great victory last week, and we got to move on to a new opponent. Obviously, we got a tough test ahead of us. Obviously, the Riders is a great team. We got a great defense, so I think today it's all about the details and executing the plays that are called.
Well, I know there's been a lot of chatter about run game versus run game when it comes to these two squads. So how can you be efficient against the Sask defense?
Yeah, I got a lot of respect for AJ. He's one heck of a running back. He also has an amazing coach with Andrew coaching him up. It'll be a battle. We'll see who comes out on top.
Well, I know you've been in plenty of Labor Day Classic games. What do you love about this weekend?
Look at the atmosphere. The game hasn't even started, and it's already jam-packed. Obviously, a lot of green, but I see a whole lot of blue as well, so it's going to be a great day for football.
Thanks so much, Brady.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Only thing that would make today better was if we were there at Mosaic.
What? Oh, man.
Time now for anytime touchdown scorers. Enoch, you're up first.
I'm going to go with the Saskatchewan defense. This is going to be a tough game for Brady Oliveira. We just talked about it. So Zach Collaros is going to have to air it out. And this defense, I love what they do and how they operate. You got Roland Milligan, you got Sales, who's up as well, and you got Tavon Campbell as well out there who are just ready to get their hands on footballs.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the emotional guy, the emotional pick for myself. Obviously, his guy's back. Dalton Schoen is back for Zach. I think Zach tries to find him. If they get the chance, dials him up to get him in the end zone. They have a good rapport. If they get a shot, I think they go to Dalton.
I'm going with Thor himself, A.J. Ouellette. First time playing in the Labor Day Classic in Regina, of course. He was on the team last year. He didn't play in this game, but I think the excitement of this game, I think they're getting him more involved, not only in the running game, but the passing game is going to allow him to score a touchdown. So that's my guy for the evening.
My guy was A.J. Ouellette as well, but I saw you picked him. So unlike you, I had to go a different way. So I went with Brady Oliveira instead. Coming off that game, over 200 all-purpose yards. He was fantastic. I think Brady gets into the end zone again today, too, as we take a look one more time at our anytime TD picks. Ches, you like Dalton Schoen to score. Milt, you like A.J. Ouellette. Enoch, you like the Sask D. You probably have an insider telling you something about that one. Finally, I have Brady Oliveira. Micah Johnson, along with teammate Shane Ray, each with 5 sacks, tied fourth most in the CFL, both hoping to add to their number today. Plenty more coming up right after this.
What we can't also neglect to talk about is this defense.
That might be a dagger. Milligan's got it. Oh, my goodness, on the far side of the field, it's taken away. 87-yard pick six. Tavon Campbell gets it done.
They had 6 sacks from 5 different guys. Everybody on that defensive line was eating.
Man, just the conviction, even though we got off to a slow start. So it's amazing. It's all happening for us.
Labor Day weekend in the CFL continues tomorrow with a doubleheader. First up, the Argonauts travel down the QEW to Hamilton to take on their arch rivals, the Hamilton Tiger Cats. The Argos coming off that 52-point performance, while Hamilton coming off the bye. Bo Levi Mitchell, by the way, an incredible 7-0 on Labor Day. And then we wrap things up in Calgary with the Battle of Alberta. Stamps have won 10 of the past 12 matchups of these two teams. They come into this one on a tear. They knocked off Winnipeg, Saskatchewan in their past two, but the Elks have momentum on their side as well. They have won 3 straight. Can't wait for those two, but of course our big one first, Saskatchewan and Winnipeg. And of course, as I mentioned during the show here, all 3 of you have been part of Labor Day Classics in different capacities. Enoch, what is your fondest memory or your favorite part of Labor Day weekend?
I mean, this is one of the most amazing times of the season because it's almost like playoff atmosphere. The city is buzzing. Everybody is talking about the game leading up to the game. And you get into this game, typically, you know each team has already identified themselves and you know who they are. But you get into this game, and because of the start of the season already, people think they already know who you are, but you want to make a statement. No, you don't. You don't. Because we're talking about this team in the Saskatchewan Roughriders being the #1 team in the league, but they want to prove something in this game. And it's a big game right now. So Winnipeg has a lot to prove today, but so does Saskatchewan as well.
Yeah, for me, it's the bigger the game, the more as a player I was into it. And that's the situation for this game. It's Labor Day Classic, but it's because the crowds are bigger, there's more fans watching. That's the part that always got me motivated. I knew that it was all eyes on us for that game, and it brought emotion and intensity to the game.
Yeah, it was definitely the atmosphere, and I tweet out this message every single year. I don't miss playing football, but I miss that atmosphere of the Labor Day Classic. We were talking about it before, how Bombers in, we caught the bus. Every single year we caught the bus to Regina, and as we got closer to the stadium, they had fans on both sides of the road. It was always fan fest, and the fans, yes, they were rude to us, but they were also respectful. So they yelled and screamed and called us some bad things, but after the game, it was all love. So that's what I miss about this Labor Day Classic atmosphere. Not the actual game, but everything that led up to the game, and of course, the atmosphere after the game.
We can probably get you a bus and have people yell at you if that would help.
Can you? Yeah, let's
we'll just put the panel on a bus.
You guys yell at me all the time anyway.
We can just
yell at me anyway all the time.
Sprint tour with Keyshawn Johnson.
Keyshawn coming into this matchup with an impressive 8-1 record for your team. How do you keep that ball rolling?
We got to go out there and execute, do what our coaches told us to do all week, and lean on our preparation.
You're leading your team in receiving yards. What are you liking about the chemistry with Trevor Harris this season?
He has it with everyone. You know what I mean? There's a bunch of guys in our room that makes plays every week. And, you know, we got to just keep it rolling as a group and, you know what I mean, let our room speak for itself.
Well, I know last season you got to experience your first Labor Day Classic. What do you like about this matchup?
It's electric. It's going to be, you know what I mean, it's going to be a nice crowd in here, and we're looking forward to it. So appreciate Rider Nation for coming down to support.
Thanks so much, Keyshawn.
Of course, appreciate it.
Keyshawn and company hoping they have a huge bounce-back game after last week's game against Calgary. The Riders have been great at home, 4-1, allowing just 95 points total. We'll see if they can do more for Rider Nation tonight. It doesn't get much better than this. The 60th edition of the Labor Day Classic between the Roughriders and the rivals from Winnipeg in front of a sold-out Mosaic Stadium. The Riders own the head-to-head record in this game, but it's been all Blue Bombers as of late, winning 3 of their past 4. The teams are ready, the fans are ready, and of course, the panel is ready. Enoch Mwamba, Davis Sanchez, Milt Stiegel, the first of 3 games on Labor Day weekend. There is something about Labor Day weekend. It is like Christmas right now in the CFL, Enoch.
It absolutely absolutely is. The excitement is through the roof right now, and I can't wait to see it because both of these teams are prepared and they're ready to go. But who is going to execute tonight is the question.
Yeah, fan bases care a lot about who wins this game. As a player, that gives us added pressure, which most of us like.
As Kate mentioned, it's like Christmas, but only one of these teams is going to be opening up presents when they wake up in the morning. So it's going to be an exciting game. Not only this game, but the entire weekend is something we all look forward to.
By the way, I just noticed this right now. Blue Bombers, Roughriders. This is where we're going for the game today?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, you are?
Yeah, I got the Riders.
You are.
It just happened like this, Kate.
No, absolutely. All right, as mentioned, Mosaic sold out for this one before kickoff. Let's get you to field level for a pre-game ceremony.
Petty Officer Second Class Cindy Hodchuck. Please join Petty Officer Hodchuck in the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. Qu'à ton bras s'est porté l'épée, il s'est porté la croix. Ton histoire est une épopée des plus brillants exploits. God keep our land glorious. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Let's hear it, fans, for Petty Officer Second Class Cindy Hodchuck.
Another chapter ready to be written in the Labor Day Classic between the Blue Bombers and the Rough Riders. Rod Smith and Glenn Suter with the call next.
Thank you, Kate, and happy holiday weekend, Canada. This has been the scene all week. City Hall in Regina, and proudly displaying that Rider flag. And Bomber fans know how to stir it up, don't they? Friends don't like friends wear green. Yeah, Winnipeg has arrived. It's the 60th Labor Day Classic between the Blue Bombers and the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Glenn Suter, you've been through a few of these as a broadcaster and as a player. You know what it means. And each team is led by two-star veteran quarterbacks who got their start in the CFL together with the Argos back in 2012.
Yeah, two veteran quarterbacks in the Classic here tonight for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. QB1, Zach Collaros is 4-4 as a starter this year, but 7-1 on the Labor Day weekend. Saskatchewan's Trevor Harris, 7-2 on the season, but his record versus the Bombers all time, 4-10. But it's Labor Day weekend. Throw the win-loss records out the window. This game will be physical and intense.
It is Corey Mace's second Labor Day Classic with Saskatchewan, losing on the final play here a year ago from Mike O'Shea, a veteran of many Labor Day Classics, both as head coach in Winnipeg and as a player in both Toronto and Hamilton. He knew both sides of that one as well. The Roughriders won the toss, and they have deferred. And so the Blue Bombers will get the ball first. They've won 3 of the last 4 Labor Day Classics.
Yeah, baby.
With fans here treated to another CF-18 flyover to get things started. There's Peyton Logan in his second game in blue and gold, the former Stampeder, finally getting his start last week in Montreal for the kick return. And for Brett Lother to get it underway, Michael Chrisike back there as well. These games have been close. Something about the Bombers and the Riders on Labor Day. And on the return, it's Logan across the 20, and he's hit hard right at the 25, coming in on special teams. And Zach Collaros will be coming on. A former Rough Rider quarterback, by the way, won a Labor Day Classic against Winnipeg in 2018, but he's been quite the story with the Blue Bombers.
Well, mentioned the 7-1 record on Labor Day weekend for Zach Collaros. That's the best of any quarterback tied in the CFL's history. And when you look at his record against Saskatchewan, pretty good there too at 13-5.
Collaros last week in Montreal, 27-31 for 263, 1 touchdown pass, no picks. And he's climbing up the charts of the all-time passing leaders as well. Here we go, first down, little play fake. He has time over the middle. It's caught as well as they welcome back Dalton Schoen, who has been out since week 5. He's missed 6 games because of a knee injury. Definitely glad to have their veteran receiver back in the line.
Saskatchewan #1. That penalty is declined. First down.
That was C.J. Rivas coming on the blitz. He was offside ahead of the jump of the snap count, so the play will stand to get things started for the Bombers. Everyone keying in on the running back situation. Zach goes to the play action, gets Dalton Schoen, who's returning from the injury list for his first game back. Involved early.
Because of injuries, he played only 3 games last year, only 4 this year. Game 5 for him, and a first down for Winnipeg across the 45. There's Brady Oliveira, and Malik Carty greets him. Takes him down for a loss on the play. You know that Rider defense will be keying on number 20.
227 starts for Stanley Bryant at left tackle, most of which with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. 8-time All-Canadian in CFL history. There's Dalton Schoen, just mentioned. He returns to the starting lineup, and it's good timing with Jarvis Stearns out due to injury. So they get one of the primary targets back for Zach Collaros.
We've wondered about Nick Dembski, who got injured last week in Montreal, but he's back in the lineup on the field now in a second and long for Collaros. With time, steps up, completes it too, but only to the 50 on that second down play. Not nearly enough for a first down. That is completed to Dylan Mitchell in his first year with the Blue Bombers, so Winnipeg will have to punt.
Yeah, not the target I don't think that Zach Collaros wanted on that second down conversion. That was the check down look over the middle, but the pressure was collapsing the pocket. Speaking of guys returning, Mario Alford back in the return game for the Riders.
Back after missing several games with a hip injury, and Dante Myers joining him as 2 go back for this punt by Jamison Sheehan, who is standing at the Winnipeg 37. Riders and Trevor Harris awaiting getting the football for the first time in this Labor Day Classic. Sheehan getting it away. End over end punt coming down for Alford, and right out of bounds too. He touched it just as it was heading out, and a flag comes out for it going out of bounds in the air outside the 15. Advantage Saskatchewan there. Trevor Harris to come on. Another Labor Day Classic. A tradition here in Regina before the Labor Day game. Thousands of fans turn up to see their stars and get an autograph as well.
Yeah, part of the tradition of the Labor Day weekend game is to have the fans get up close and say hi to the players, the coaching staff. Thousands showed up, and the #1 guy on the list and the longest line was, guess who? The QB, Trevor Harris,
who is number 14th all time and climbing the ladder as well in passing yardage. He hands off to A.J. Olette. Big bruising running back, 3rd in the CFL in rushing. Picks up about 5 yards for a second down coming up.
7-2 on the season for Trevor Harris. Missed the 1 game that Jake Mayer went out and played for him as in the #2 spot, but 7-2 coming off the loss to Calgary, and Trevor told us this week that the offense needs to be better than they were in the second half of that game.
That was his least productive game so far this season. He's averaging almost 300 yards passing per game. Call it a gain of 4 and a 2nd and 6 for Harris. Looking off to his left, and he completes it 2 and a first down. That is Tommy Neild in his first year with the Roughriders, picking it up as the sticks move. They get up near the 45.
Tommy Neild filling in nicely for Sam Emilus as he's close to coming off the injured list for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. But in the meantime, Tommy Neild, the veteran, 5 years in the Canadian Football League, has chipped in a big way.
Had a couple of touchdown catches since being activated, and had 4 for 35 last week at McMahon Stadium in Calgary. Up to the 44 and a second down, or first down, I should say, for the Riders. Back to Ouellette. His second carry as he picks up 2-3 more. Michael Griffin in on the tackle along with Kyrie Wilson.
Well, we showed you Stanley Bryant in the intros of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers offense. How about his former teammate Jamarcus Hardrick? Again, another well-decorated offensive lineman and former All-Star. First Labor Day game as a Rider in 2015. More on that as the game goes on. Keyshawn Johnson back-to-back 100-yard games for Saskatchewan.
And because Hardrick was injured last year, couldn't face his old teammates, his first time against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, where he played for so many years. Second down now. Harris, little pump fake with time, getting chased now by James Vaughters. And Cam Lawson, and eventually throws it away on that second down play. And so third coming up, and that's it for this drive for Saskatchewan, as Joe Couch will come on to kick it away.
Well, that's a play by the secondary for the Bombers. I mean, they made that play because Trevor Harris had tons of time initially standing in the pocket, going through his progressions, didn't see anything he liked, didn't see an open receiver, and decided to just throw that out of bounds.
Joe Couch back at his 34. It's Trey Vavel emerging as really good returner for Winnipeg this year. Couple of returns, 4 touchdowns in a game against Toronto back in week 9. Their high end over end punt and sailing out of bounds in the air. And was it inside the 15? No, it looks like this will be a flag indeed around the 20.
See, both of these punters are aware of the return possibility.
Worried about Mario Alford, worried about Vavel, and hey, worried about Mike O'Shea. Didn't have the catch of the Heron pass. We'll be back. It was nearly 10 years ago to the day that we first saw this quarterback matchup. Trevor Harris suits with the Argos then up against Zach Collaros, and they were victorious. The Hamilton Tiger Cats won by 30.
Well, when you consider that that was early in both of those quarterbacks' journeys, now all these years later they're going head-to-head again as the starter in Saskatchewan, the starter in Winnipeg, and climbing up the all-time list as they do it, too.
Well, it's interesting. Both could move up today. Collaros 17th all-time. Harris 13th. Under pressure is Collaros now coming in. A.J. Allen nearly got him and throws it off to the sideline for Nick Dembski. But no, just heading out of bounds.
We'll talk to Zach Collaros about the starting defense he's facing in Saskatchewan. He mentioned Mike Rose before we brought up his name. He said when they added Mike Rose, that just solidified that defensive line, and they are very good. Their leading tackler here in Sask is Jameer Thurman at 55 defensive tackles. And then in the back end, you have Roland Milligan, who's tied for the league lead in interceptions. That's not a surprise. Big start for Jackson Ford at safety. Grandson of Alan Ford, a Rider great.
Second down and 10 now after the incompletion. Collaros facing the heat, and down he goes. Malik Carney adds to his sack total. That D-line a force to be reckoned with, and they rear their ugly head there for the Bombers. 5th sack of the season for Carney.
They can move him around. Malik Carney is usually the defensive end, but this time he's inside at the defensive tackle spot, and he makes an inside move right there on Patrick Neufeld, it looked like. Just an inside step, nice swim move, and gets right to Collaros before he can even go to that second progression.
Jamison Sheehan, first time out. His punt went out of bounds outside the 15. It was a penalty, as Suits talked about. They're very conscious of the returners. Alford back. And it is heading his way right inside the 30 for Saskatchewan. Mario Alford on his first return since coming back, missing several games with a hip injury. Malik Carney on a D-line that's really been racking up the sacks. 0-0 in this Labor Day Classic first quarter.
Here comes the rush. Glenn over the middle. Stiegel has it! Oh my goodness, what a catch! Touchdown Winnipeg! That is incredible.
That was spectacular.
That got style points.
Oh, the incomparable Milt Stegall with more touchdowns in the Labor Day Classic than anyone in history. And this the 60th Labor Day Classic between these two teams.
Yeah, and Milt, that was all my idea, so you could make the check out to, no, I'm kidding, of course. But, yeah, you know what happens in the Labor Day Classic? The best players on your team level up.
The guy that can level up and square those shoulders, and A.J. Ouellette on that first down. Another good carry as they try to establish a ground game. A second and short coming up here for the Riders.
Speaking of guys that can level up in a heartbeat, how about Willie Jefferson, who leads the league again? No shocker there, no surprise with 11 knockdowns. Michael Griffin will start at that cover linebacker for Retta Cramdy in the linebacking core. And back in the back end, Evan Holm is tied with Milligan to lead the league in interceptions. They start Cam Allen at safety.
Gain of 7 by Ouellette. 2nd and 3 Riders. Second possession. Scoreless tie early. Throwing. Knocked away. Hands get up. You talked about Willie Jefferson, a different player this time. Reaching up, it's the weak side linebacker Kyrie Wilson who knocks it away and forces a third down.
Remember the big plays in the Grey Cups for Kyrie Wilson? I mean, you think back to the 2 championship games for this player in 2019, 2021. Back-to-back games. He made big plays in those games nearing the end of them to get the wins for Winnipeg.
So Trey Babel is back again. Second punt of the day for Joe Couch. Babel from the 20. Breaks through. Up the middle. Found something there across the 35 before the Riders on special teams push him back. You heard Milt Stegall and what he's done.
Yeah, there's what you mentioned, the total touchdowns on Labor Day in the Classics, and no one has more in the history of the league than our buddy Milt. Looks pretty sweet in that picture too, doesn't he? Tuck the ball under your arm though, Milt. You gotta put that ball away. Some safety's gonna come downhill.
Milton likes his style points too.
Oh, you got it.
He'll be pleased with that little graphic selection there. A couple of hands on the ball. Down the end zone a lot. No one's found it yet. Halfway through the first quarter. 0-0. Third possession, Winnipeg now. Crowd picking up. Claris throwing to his right. It's caught by Kevin Clarcias. Big Clarcias with his first catch in this game, getting it up to about the 39.
Now, visiting teams going into Winnipeg over the last couple of years now know what this feels like, but when you're the visiting team on Labor Day, especially here in Saskatchewan, you're going to lose the snap count offensively. What that means is the offense has the edge to start the play because they know the snap count, they know when to go when they hear that from their quarterback. You lose that when the crowd's going nuts like they are before the snap, so you have to look as a receiver into the line of scrimmage and see the ball move before you can go ahead and hit your route.
So here we go in a 2nd and 7. It's on Dolivera. It takes it a big day against the Alouettes last week. His best game of the season so far. That one, though, not quite enough for a first down as the punting unit will come on again.
Now, that's what will happen in the Banjo Bowl down the road here in the next game in Winnipeg for the Riders, and they'll have to deal with it. But Zach will motion with his hands to start the pre-snap motion, and then the rest of the players, including the tackles on the offensive line, will have to look in at the ball, not at the player that they're going to block. That split second can be a difference maker.
This time just one returner back for Saskatchewan. It is Mario Alford back after missing 5 games. Jamison Sheehan to punt it away again, standing at his 30. Still no points on the board. Sends this one to the left, and a good punt by Sheehan. Back inside the 15 for Alford, and can get up to about the 25 and no further. With Connor Shea in on the tackle and the punt coverage for Winnipeg. Something about these teams, something about this day. For years, they were bookend tackles on the Bomber offensive line. Jamarcus Hardrick, as mentioned, facing his old team and his old friend for the first time. Let's head down to Britt Dort.
Yeah, and Roddy actually got emotional yesterday when I asked him about Stanley Bryant. The two said the same thing. We are brothers. They actually still text each other after every single game. I don't know about this one. Talk about ways they can improve. Now, Hardrick told me when he first became a Bomber, it was Bryant who was the only one who was transparent with him, who would tell him when he messed up, how he needed to be better. And he said, I used to have this mean kind of go-to for myself, and I wasn't lightening up until I learned what it took to be a pro. And boy, do we see Hardrick lighten up, because his common celebration when something big happens is to pick up his teammates. We've seen it with both Zach Collaros and Trevor Harris. I asked Corey Mace, is there anybody he can't pick up? And Corey Mace said, all I tell him is stay away from me.
Thank you, Brett. Hardrick was, as the Bombers said, the juice, the energy of the Winnipeg team when he was there. Now against them with the Riders now, and handing off to A.J. Ouellette again. Another carry for Ouellette as he gets it up to about the 29.
So for Jamarcus Hardrick, as Britt just mentioned, Stanley Bryant is like big brother, but also a family member is Willie Jefferson, a guy that was there when his kids were born, has been a great teammate and family friend. Like, they consider each other family. And in fact, Jamarcus had to say, you know, I've got to take the name tag off and the number and the identification, just play an opponent. It's going to be difficult.
As Britt talked about, this is emotional for him. Yeah. These are very, very close friends. 2nd and 6. That is caught across the 40. And that is a first down for the Riders. That's Keyshawn Johnson with his first catch.
Yeah, Keyshawn Johnson, as I mentioned in the intros, has been very active, over 100 yards in back-to-back games, including that loss to Calgary last week. And Jamarcus Hardrick not facing his old buddy Willie Jefferson this time, but doing his job, shutting down any rush off the edge from Vaughters.
And with that, he's over 800 yards receiving this season, too. The Riders' leading receiver in yardage. Harris quickly again to the right, and right back to Johnson. Not a first down, but another good pickup on first across the 45.
I asked Jamarcus Hardrick about protecting Trevor Harris, and to help me explain to the fan how much they are committed, those guys up front, and how much they care about keeping that quarterback, especially one that is like fine wine in his late 30s. And he said, think of it this way. It's like you're protecting your own kids back there.
Takes it very personally. See any kind of pressure on his quarterback. Jamarcus Hardrick, the right tackle. We go in a 2nd and 3 after that 7-yard pickup to Johnson. That is going nowhere. Wrapped up and greeted. James Vaughters is there to say hello in the Rider backfield as they lose yardage and a 3rd down coming up.
Yeah, they'll move around just like we saw from the Rider D-line. They will move around the Bomber defense and put their defense line. Sometimes Jefferson will come off the edge. Sometimes Vaughters will move into the middle and run one of those stunts with the linebacker. He goes right down Main Street to stop A.J. Ouellette in his tracks before he got started.
Getting late in the first quarter, still no points on the board in this Labor Day Classic. In 5 of the last 6 years, these games have gone down to the final 3 minutes between the Riders and the Bombers. This the 60th Labor Day showdown between the two. The punt from Joe Couch. Preval takes it at about the 17. Hesitates. Wants to go left. He has to backtrack. Finds some room, but a good tackle there coming in is Jaden Dalkey, the special teams tackle. So Collaros will be back on. They're inside their 20 to start. Corey Mace, another Labor Day Classic as a head coach, but Suits, his first game as a player with the Calgary Stampeders was in the Labor Day Classic in Calgary against Edmonton.
Can you imagine? That's your first game, that level of intensity. Corey Mace getting after it from that defensive line interior position. That little push, by the way, is a penalty now, Coach, so you gotta be careful with that. But very first game in Canadian football on Labor Day.
And he was saying this week to fans, once you've experienced a Labor Day, for him, fan or as a player, you're hooked. Loves the energy here, I am sure. Collaros in the fake, and he's throwing it deep to the right to an open carrot deep ball, but closing was a Rider defender. Just did not arrive in time and ended up going off a a Rider helmet. Tavon Campbell was in there with Roland Milligan and just couldn't get it there in time because Wheatfall was open.
Well, this is Tavon Campbell's superpower because Zach Collaros has an open receiver deep. And he wants to go over the top here, and it looks like he has a guy. You can see wide open on the outside is Wheatfall, but Tavon Campbell's superpower is his ability to close. He can make up 5 to 10 yards in a blink, and he did it on that play to get the knockdown.
Brilliant with his right hand, not his helmet. Great play there by Campbell closing to break that one up. Second down, Collaros. Deeper route again, and this time it is complete. Nick Dembski, who now has a catch in 82 straight games, the active leader in the CFL, and that's a big first down for Winnipeg.
Yeah, it is, and the safety, Jackson Ford, stumbles on it. But we talked to Zach Collaros about his #1 target, and Nick Dembski to the right of your screen going right down that seam. And this is what he said. He's our best player.
Yeah.
He said Nick Dembski is our best football player.
Didn't even hesitate about it.
Didn't hesitate and said he's our MVP on offense and he's our best player.
Well, he had 4 catches for 25 yards only before getting hurt in Montreal, and one was a touchdown to help them in that victory over the Alouettes. Glad to see that he's able to play the Bombers are in this big Labor Day game. So here comes Winnipeg. Another deep shot to the right. Clarcius, Kenny Lawler style, got turned around and comes down with the football inside the Rider 10.
Ember Clarcius comes through on the deep ball, and it was a Lawler-like catch. I mean, laying out, going backwards. Collaros gives him a chance. He's well covered down there by Marcus Sales, but he says, I trust my big, tall, wide receiver. He goes up and brings it down. What a catch.
What if he learned a thing or two from his old teammate?
I'm sure he did.
Together for a couple of years. Kevin's Clarcius with the catch. And that gets them down to a 1st and goal. Winnipeg, shovel pass. Oliver Dembski at the 5. Nick Dembski, taking that one. Coming inside and gets it down just within the 5-yard line. To put a little exclamation mark on the end of the first quarter. Still no points, but Winnipeg is threatening.
What a catch by Clarcius.
Kevin's Clarcius in his 2nd year at a Yukon. The Montreal native. Biggest play for the Bombers on offense so far in this game has them in business as the 2nd quarter of the Labor Day Classic is about to begin. Through 1 quarter of the 60th Labor Day Classic between the Bombers and Riders, we still don't have a point, although that big play to set up Winnipeg has them very close to start the 2nd.
Weird, Rod, how jacked I am, and we haven't seen a point scored yet in this game, but, you know, both teams, it's a different game in the regular season like we've talked about in this first quarter and in the pregame show, but both the teams have sort of strayed away from their regular game plan. Both these teams offensively like to start out by establishing the run, and we haven't seen a lot of Brady Oliveira yet or A.J. Ouellette. He's got a couple of touches in this first quarter, but teams like to establish that run game.
Well, the 2nd quarter begins with a 2nd down and goal after 5. And you're right, no points, but the energy in this stadium with the sellout crowd at Mosaic. Winnipeg and Chris Streveler's in at quarterback now in this 2nd and goal play. Trying to diffuse some of that crowd now and get the first points on the board. Streveler at QB. Standing under center. Handing off Oliveira. Touchdown Winnipeg. Now we have some points. And it's the visitors who get it started.
Well, the strategy by bringing in Chris Streveler is to bring in and run sort of a veer-style run-oriented offense. They've got the fullback and Chris Ike in there and Brady Oliveira, so you've got some extra blocking. You can either go with that type of play, straight handoff off the left side if you're Winnipeg, or you can pull it and you have big Chris Streveler running around the edge as a running quarterback. So Different strategy down there inside the 10, but it worked.
Second quarter begins with a Winnipeg touchdown and the point after from Sergio Castillo. So the Bombers, who've won 3 of the last 4 Labor Day Classics, take the initiative in this one in a 5-play, 92-yard drive.
Get in the big extra offensive line in there, and Tui Ellie, and good kick-out block. Brady Oliveira punches it in, but Zach Collaros was slinging it deep in this drive. I mean, he goes down the seam to Dembski. A little bit of a stumble there from Jackson Ford. Couldn't get to that seam route. The great Clercius catch on the sideline with coverage all over him. Add in that little fly sweep there to Dembski and then finish it with the run.
The run in by Brady Oliveira now is 3 on the season after a slow start in terms of scoring touchdowns. Said coming off his best game against the Alouettes in Montreal. And you talked about him slinging deep. And then before that, there was the attempt at weak fall. He was open for a moment before Tavon Campbell broke up that play. He's been throwing it downfield.
Well, that's what a veteran quarterback will do. I mean, just because one got knocked down doesn't mean he's not going to trust his receivers to make the big catch. And Kevin's Clercius comes through.
And with that drive, Collaros is now 15th all-time in passing yardage. He passed both Michael Riley and Dieter Brock, once a great quarterback for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, to move up 2 notches, standing behind Trevor Harris, who's trying to pass Kent Austin today. Here's Mary Alford on the return. First game back in a while, and a good return. So he gets that one up across the 35, close to the 40.
Here's what you were talking about in the all-time list for Zach Collaros, who passes Michael Riley.
Return, holding Saskatchewan number 28. 10-yard penalty. First down.
And a former Bomber great in Dieter Brock, also played for the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
You played against him, didn't you?
I remember playing against the guy with a rocket arm that could throw it through a brick wall in Dieter Brock. But congrats to Zach Collaros, moving up the all-time list.
And chasing Trevor Harris, who passed those 2 earlier this season in the same game. As mentioned, Harris came in 187 yards shy of Kent Austin, former great quarterback here in Saskatchewan, for 13th in the all-time list. We'll keep tabs on that as well. Harris and the Riders with the ball. They're down 7 now on the first down. Ball comes out. Bombers have it. Big turnover. Tony Jones takes that gift after Winnipeg knocked it out of the hands of Trevor Harris. And Winnipeg in business again with the touchdown lead, looking for more.
Tony Jones been all over the field, and the leader of this defense from the middle linebacker spot. 68 defensive tackles. He's going to cover down on A.J. Ouellette. Then he gets in there and scoops the ball to get the recovery. See who? Big push up front. And a power rush. Is that Cam Lawson with the big push? And the bull rush on Jamarcus Hardrick. Right into the lap of Trevor Harris. Fumble comes out. Don't think the arm was going forward. Doesn't look like it was. They rule it's a fumble. Bomber ball.
Strepler back in at quarterback now, and this time a 1st and goal at the 5. Handing off to Oliveira again. Last time they did this, it wound up going into the end zone for a touchdown just a few plays ago. This time he picks up a couple. And there's Tony Jones. We've talked about him before. What a job he's done filling in at middle linebacker after the injury to Adam Bighill, ultimately taking over and filling some very big shoes.
Well, in the last 2 wins, Ottawa and Montreal, Tony Jones has recorded 20 defensive tackles. It's a big fumble recovery and a chance to go up 2 possessions early in this classic.
Down to the 3, 2nd and goal. Looking to really break open the lead now, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Out of shotgun. Keeping it. Strevler can't get there. They got him wrapped up. He might have got a yard, and that's it. Faked the handoff to Oliveira, and Strevler tried to take it in himself, and instead is denied with a 3rd and goal coming up.
That was a great play by Jameer Thurman. These middle linebackers stepping up when they have to on this 2nd down play. He plays to Brady Oliveira first and then gets back outside to help out on the tackle on Strevler. So he takes the fullback's block, hustles over And with Malik Carney, gets the stop.
And Mike O'Shea taking no chances on this 3rd and goal. Sergio Castillo in the field goal unit has come on. They want the points. They want a 2-score game here in this Labor Day Classic and not give the Rider defense a chance for a big momentum swing in a goal line stand. So Castillo, 28 of 31, over 90%, and a short one for him. Known for his long field goal kicks, has a short one to put 3 more on the board. 3 off the turnover. 10-0. Bombers lead. Back at Mosaic, Rod Smith, Glenn Suter, Britt Dort here in the Labor Day Classic, which is being led right now by the visiting Winnipeg Blue Bombers, 10-0. The field goal by Castillo after the fumble by Trevor Harris, setting up a 1st and goal for the Bombers. Harris back in there now, swinging it off to the left. That's a Joe, and Joe back with the Riders. He was a rookie last year, got a lot of attention, couple of touchdowns, went and tried the NFL with Indianapolis, and this is his first game back and getting a nice cheer from the crowd.
Well, his best game last year when he became a real fan favorite was against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers back in July when he had over 100 yards receiving. A big, strong, 6'3", 211-pound slot back. Just got back a couple of days ago.
From Brooks, Alberta, Joe gains 5 yards on that pass from Harris, changing up the call now in the 2nd down play at the 45. 4-man rush with time, and no, nearly into the hands of Tommy Neal, but good coverage there. That's Cam Allen, the safety, getting the start again in the Winnipeg secondary. Breaks that up. 3rd and 5 coming up.
Boy, that was a tight window that Trevor Harris tried to fit that ball in. There were 3 Bomber defenders all over that. And it was Allen who timed up the hit and was bang on with that to separate the ball from the receiver and Tommy Neal.
So that Rider possession stalls. Joe Couch on to punt it again. Bombers with a 10-point lead here in the 2nd quarter. This Labor Day Classic with Trey Babel back at the 15. And the whistle blows.
See who moved first here, because they're 3rd and 5. They can. Now, I'm not sure if they're doing it right at this minute, but they can get help from the replay center on this.
In real time. It's against Winnipeg.
Defensive offside. Winnipeg number 5. A 5-yard penalty will result in a 1st down.
As announced by the referee Andre Proulx. So there you go. A costly penalty, Winnipeg, as Saskatchewan's offense comes back onto the field.
Reminder from head coach Michael O'Shea about game situations. 3rd and 5. Be a second late is better than trying to anticipate the snap count.
Trevor Harris 4 for 7 for 33 yards. That's it here in the 2nd quarter. And handing off, trying to get A.J. Ouellette going again as he pushes his way up to just across the 52.
You know, I'm looking at Dante Myers now taking a page. I think the Riders offense and Trevor Harris need to take a page out of Zach Collaros' book and maybe push the ball deep a couple of times just to loosen things up here, whether they complete it or not. And Dante Myers has been their guy in that regard. 8 big explosives on the season, which is in the top 5 in the league. So he can get over top of the defense in a hurry, and maybe just throwing a couple up to him loosens things up.
Myers, their biggest play receiver. Keyshawn Johnson, too.
Yep.
Who can make some big catches, and he has the biggest catch so far of 12 yards. That's it for this Rider offense so far in this one. Over 10 minutes to go. It is Tanner Schmeckel, defensive lineman for the Blue Bombers, who is the injured player, getting some attention down in the field here at Mosaic. It's all in one place. Crane, proudly Canadian. Here in the 2nd quarter, Riders with the football. They have a 2nd down and long right now. They're in a 10-point hole at their 52-yard line. Touchdown by Brady Oliveira, and then after a fumble deep in their zone led to a Castillo field goal. So here we go, Saskatchewan. Four-man rush, pump fake, gets outside, Harris throwing. Oh, nearly a brilliant catch by Johnson, trying to one-hand it, thrown behind him, but can't bring it down. And there you go, another third down now for the Riders.
Well, this time Harris is going to feel like he can get outside with the option to either run or throw it. And I think he just put a little bit of heat, and this was behind Keyshawn Johnson throwing on the run. And he's number 2 receiver coming out of that slot back spot. Bang route inside, back to the outside, and in behind him and a little high.
That falls to the turf. Joe Couch is back on. Trey Vavel is back at his 5. Turning into a good first half for the Blue Bombers, led by their defense. Forcing that turnover deep before, led to some points. Vavel. And he's tripped up around the 20 and still running around, and then goes back and gets tackled there by Jackson Ford. So here's Zach Collaros, a veteran of the Labor Day Classic, and has the most wins, tied with Bo Levi Mitchell. Little breakdown of that 7-1 record.
Yeah, how about that? Now, you know, what's weird about that is, to me, is that now 66.9 completion percentage, that's low compared to what the quarterback.
By today's standards.
By today's standards, the quarterbacks are like well over 70 now all of a sudden. But, yeah, great numbers. Of course, the win-loss record is what matters most.
Out of those 7, so 3-0 with the Ticats. We had highlights of one against Trevor Harris and the Argos in 15. So he won 3 with Hamilton, and he's won 3 with Winnipeg, and that other win with Saskatchewan here against the Blue Bombers in 2018 on that carry on 1st and 10, and that was Peyton Logan. You'll see him on special teams. You also see him at running back in relief of Brady Oliveira, but going nowhere there.
Well, this is the opportunity for the Riders to give their offense a chance on this 2nd and long. 2nd and more than 10. And the volume here at Mosaic will be turned up a couple notches.
Crowd picking up now here at Mosaic. Capacity crowd. There's standing room for this Labor Day Classic. On the 2nd and 12. Collaros, they've got him again. Ball comes out. And who's got it? They sort it out. What a big turnover this would be for the Saskatchewan Roughriders and Malik Kearney. Turnabout's fair play. This time, Collaros coughs it up. And the Riders make him pay.
Malik Kearney, the 2nd time they've moved him into that defensive tackle spot, and again he is going out and around. This time it's Gabe Wallace. Great swim move to get to Zach Collaros before he has a chance to even set his feet and throw this one. Ball comes out, arm wasn't moving forward. The Riders get their turn at a deep turnover.
He already added to his sack total earlier. They're inside the 10. It's a 1st and goal now. What can the Riders do with it? Looking for their first points of this Labor Day Classic. Harris to left, cuts it back into the end zone. Uncontested. Touchdown, Saskatchewan.
Great cutback and vision from A.J. Ouellette here. The play is designed to go to the short side of the field. He puts the brakes on, sees the wash down from that offensive line. He bounces it back to the right and hits pay dirt.
And more points off turnovers. Bombers got a field goal when they forced the fumble, and Trevor Harris. Malik Kearney forces it on Collaros, and right away
baby.
They cash in with a touchdown with a point after try from the new dad, Brett Rother. Malik Kearney having himself a Labor Day Classic to set this up. Ouellette. We got a classic brewing.
When the Bombers got their turnover. It was Cam Lawson with the big push. This time, Hardrick decides to wash down Lawson to make sure he can't get in the backfield on this run. Big block right here as he pushes and washes that whole defensive line. Hardrick at the right tackle, closing it down so that A.J. Ouellette can bounce off that block and get it into the end zone.
It's an emotional game for Hardrick against his old team for the first time as A.J. gives him his props, too. That block that helped open things up for the Ouellette touchdown. Now a 10-7 game. Peyton Logan on this kick return across the 20 to the 30. Logan gets across the 35 with a flag coming out on that return. Let's head back to Britt North.
Well, you know how important it is to win on Labor Day, and Trevor Harris couldn't go anywhere this week without people recognizing him. And one of his fan interactions that stood out is one who told him, "We don't care if you lose every game to finish off the season. You have to win Labor Day." And he said, "Well, that would put us at a 9-9 record. I'm not sure how I feel about that." Jamarcus Hardrick, who we mentioned before, had a small stint with Saskatchewan in 2015. He came in for his first game Labor Day. They were 0-8. He said, "You would have thought we were 8-0. Because the fans love the fact that they just got their first win of the season on Labor Day. And guys, you talked to Zach Collaros this week, who has a 7-1 record as a starter in Labor Day. And what was the first thing he pointed out as a pro athlete? The one loss, not even the 7 wins.
Oh, Brett, yeah, it's not the wins that stick with you. It's those losses.
Well, what's amazing about this is she mentioned that the record back in 2015, they had not won a game.
They were 0-9.
And they beat, you know, the Bombers on that day. That's what Labor Day has happened so many times. I mean, the Bombers have won 22 times in the last 59. 20 of them, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers had the better record.
Right.
And didn't win.
Just goes to show.
I mean, and then you say that, and over the last 4 years, they've won 3 of the 4.
Yeah. I mean, and hey, they both want to win. Let's not kid ourselves. But when it comes to this day, there is something special about it. And, you know, in Jamarcus Hardrick, Britt was alluding to the fact that people may forget that Hardrick, you know, he started in BC, but really got going and with the Saskatchewan Roughriders for a year before going on to Winnipeg, where his career really flourished. And Hardrick was the one pointing that out, too. Geez, we were 0-9 in that game, and it was like it was a championship. Couldn't get over the atmosphere at old Taylor Field, Mosaic, the original Mosaic Stadium.
Yeah, that's what you think. You come into this thinking, you know, everyone's talking like Trevor Harris went through, as Britt mentioned, going through the city early in the week. Usually around game day you get that here in Saskatchewan for sure. Definitely in Winnipeg on game day. But when it's the Labor Day weekend, you get it at the beginning of the week. You get it all week. And that's what the fans are saying. They're, you know, and Hardrick is telling us, they're telling me that I only have to win one game as a Rider, and it's this one. And I'm not sure what that means, and then he played in it.
Yeah.
And he went, oh, I get it.
They figured it out then.
Yeah.
Why it matters so much. A penalty on the return against Winnipeg. That return by Logan pushes him back to the 18 now. Corey Mace's Riders, his second season as the head coach in Saskatchewan, lost a close one to the Bombers in the Labor Day Classic 1 year ago. First down, and off to Dembski. And a catch earlier to extend his streak, and he pushes his way through against Devon Campbell there to pick up at least 5 more yards, set up the second down here for Winnipeg.
You know, a lot of people have said about Nick Dembski that the reason that Zach Collaros loves him so much, the reason we talk about him as one of the best players in the league is because of how much he can do, the different things he can do. He's like that Swiss Army knife we hear all the time. But it's more than that for number 10. He does it so well. That's why he's the greatest, one of the great players in the league.
No question, and they give him 7 yards on that before he finally went out of bounds. So we got a 2nd and 3 coming up after the 7 more for Dembski. Handing off Olivera, first down and more, spinning and up across the 35. Winnipeg with a 3-point lead halfway through this second quarter on the move.
Patrick Neufeld, right side of the offensive line, right at that guard spot. Used to play all those years with Jamarcus Hardrick at right tackle. Now it's Kendall Randolph, who Mike O'Shea said has done an excellent job in replacing Hardrick at that spot.
That's Neufeld and Bryant, the throwbacks to when the defensive line, those championship years first brought together, they're still there. Off the fake for Logan. Can't hang on to it. Falls incomplete. And a second down coming up here for Winnipeg. Peyton Logan starting his CFL career, 3 seasons with the Calgary Stampeders before signing on with Winnipeg and got injured in training camp. Just made his Bomber debut last week in Montreal.
Yeah, big play player. You know, he can break it open. I mean, this is a guy that could turn it on and outrun angles. A little surprised that we've only seen 4 touches for Brady Oliveira at this point.
Oliveira, yeah, 4 carries for 16 yards, one of them being a 5-yard touchdown to start the second quarter. Under 6 minutes to go until halftime. Winnipeg football. Throwing again. Immediately hit. Roland Milligan was coming in there on that catch by Dalton Schoen. He hung on to the football, but down he goes, and a 3rd down coming up here for Winnipeg.
Dalton Schoen has great spatial awareness. That's one thing he brings to this offense, meaning he knows exactly where to sit down, and Milligan closes 10 yards to hold him short of the marker. I mean, that's the right throw. It's the right read. Dalton made the right decision to sit down there because Milligan was 10 yards away. He said, this is where the hole is, and Milligan closed that in a heartbeat.
Another great defensive play by last year's Defensive Player of the Year in the CFL, Roland Milligan. Mario Alford back for another punt return from Jamison Sheehan inside his 30. With the Riders down 3, most recently with the ball, getting a touchdown off a turnover and about to get the football back. As the clock ticks, under 5 minutes until the end of the first half. This one heading left, takes a hop inside the 20, and picking it up is Alford. Picks up a block, a flag comes down as well as he goes out of bounds around the Winnipeg or Saskatchewan 23.
During the return, illegal block, Saskatchewan number 31, 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
Mentioned off the top, Willie Jefferson loves these games.
It's time to be the hero. Rising like you've never seen. Like you've never seen.
Loves Labor Day, too. Great graphics, by the way. John Perlberg and company.
Look at Gaynor.
Yeah. Well, and Gaynor used to know what Willie could do for the Riders. Remember, he had 3 years here as well. I remember him devastating the Bombers in Winnipeg in a Banjo Bowl game back in 2018. But what success that Willie Jefferson is leading, you know, in CFL history in knockdowns, and he had a couple last week against the Alouettes. What a nightmare he can be for opposing quarterbacks. Starting at the 8. And that's Mario Anderson getting his first carry. Works up for a couple of yards. Kyrie Wilson in on the tackle for Winnipeg.
These are the moments, though, that Willie Jefferson will make that play. And that's why I've been saying for years now, when you look at what he's done in the knockdown department alone, let alone the 80 career sacks that he's accumulated, but the 88 career knockdowns, he leads the league again this year with 11. And, you know, it's almost like you got a game plan away from a defensive lineman. I mean, that's rare.
Yeah.
It's rare to set your game plan trying to stay away from an end rusher.
There we go on a 2nd and 7 now for Harris near his own end zone. And he gets him out of it on that play. Dante Myers turns around and picks up more. Finally taken down by Cam Allen. Great work after the catch for Myers to get him out of a jam there as they work it up across the 35.
Yeah, got to get Myers activated here, especially on those deep balls. This is an intermediate route. And first of all, the Riders up front to allow Trevor Harris to get that ball out of there to Myers. They double team number 5, Willie Jefferson. Get a couple of big bodies on him. Hardrick helps against his old buddy.
Gain of 24. Anderson still in at running back. It's thrown off to the left, and it is caught by Del Duncan Busby, who picks up about 5 more yards up around the 40 to set up a 2nd down on Duncan Busby's first catch of the afternoon.
By the way, that's part of the game plan that we talked about. I mean, this is game planning offensively for Bramer, Jacob Bramer, and Jamarcus Hardrick to, if Willie Jefferson lines up at the defensive tackle spot, now he's on the sideline for this play, but He lines up at that tackle. Get two big bodies on him.
Gave him 6 across the 40 to the 41 now. 2nd and 4. Trevor Harris and the Riders down by 3. Late first half. Throwing here. And it's caught. And more. And heading into the end zone for the touchdown is Tommy Neal. One quick strike. And the Riders have the lead.
Great timing on the throw, and Tommy Neal is going to, against a zone look on defense, is going to turn it into a man-to-man with a little inside cut that freezes Cam Allen, the safety. That allows 83 to get in behind him, and Trevor Harris hits him in stride.
69 yards for Tommy Neal. His 3rd touchdown catch of the season, his 1st with the Riders. The ex-Argo, Neal. Big catch and run from Trevor Harris, who has another touchdown pass. Saskatchewan is in front, 14-10.
It was all Blue Bombers to start, but now the Roughriders have come all the way back. I wonder what happens next.
Well, the great Nostradamus knows what happens next. What do you know, Chiz?
Stiegel had the greatness of the Labor Day Classic. We gave him that. Now he wants to be the great Nostradamus prognosticator. What will happen? Kate producing the panel, I can tell you that. I got some thoughts on this one. Winnipeg, they were up 10. Now they're down 4. It's Peyton Logan. And a good tackle. Malik Straker coming in on special teams to take him down. Let's have another look at that touchdown. Tommy Neal from Trevor Harris.
Well, even if you're running against a zone look, and watch Tommy Neal work this so that Cam Allen commits. He's going down the seam, and he's making it look like he's going to run a dig across the middle, right at that center stripe. Now, to the right of your screen, you see the bend inside and the look. The right of your screen is Cam Allen, the safety. You see him now have to speed turn out of there, and now he's in trouble. His feet stop backpedaling. Neal is in behind him. If the throw's there, it's a touchdown. The throw was there. Neal takes it in.
Until that drive, Harris's biggest completion was 12 yards. Then he had a 24 to Myers. 69 yards to Tommy Neal. Starting to put it down the field. It pays off. They have the lead. Calera's with the ball now. And now trying to set up Dembski on the screen, and it falls shy of his feet. So a 2nd and 10 coming up.
That might have been tipped on the throw. Looked like Zach Collaros was trying to almost point guard jump and pass this out. Shane Ray coming off that edge. Did he get a piece of that?
Got a bit. Just a little bit, though.
Just a tip. Knocked it down.
For Shane Ray in his first year with the Riders.
He's come on.
He really has.
Yep.
Great work on the defensive line of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. 2nd down and 10. Calera steps up under the pressure. Micah Johnson chasing him down. Deep look down the right into coverage. Looking for Dembski, but 2 Riders were there as well to break that play up. And Winnipeg is looking at a 2-and-out. They'll have to punt it away.
Yeah, DeMarcus Fields and the safety Jackson Ford both converging on this. Collaros is way outside now. He sees the pocket start to get dented up front, so he bounces outside, and now he's just trying to lead his receiver into this. But coming off his coverage is DeMarcus Fields. He's elevating for the ball, just goes through his hands, and Jackson Ford involved as well.
2:18 on the clock until halftime. 2 returners back for the Riders inside the 30 for Jamison Sheehan. Saskatchewan has the momentum in this 2nd quarter now, after the 10 points were quickly put on by Winnipeg. Alford with it. Backtracks. Good coverage. Michael Griffin coming in and making sure he gets only a yard or 2 back inside the 30, where Harris, and the Riders will come on to scrimmage again after their most successful possession.
7 of 11, 132 yards, a couple deeper throws. That one to Tommy Neal, obviously, but also the earlier throw to Deontay Myers. Deontay Myers on that dig route kind of loosened things up a little bit for Trevor Harris.
1st and 10, the Riders 27 in the 60th Labor Day Classic. Back in the hands of A.J. Ouellette. He cuts it back left. Ouellette, who had a touchdown earlier, the Rider TD, and it's Javian Woodby on the tackle for Winnipeg.
Yeah, you knew that both these offenses would eventually get to their running backs. A.J. Ouellette, and for the Bombers, of course, Brady Oliveira.
It's Mark Mueller, offensive coordinator for the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
The other part when you start a game like this, though, when everyone's talking about containing the run and stopping the run, is to go play action early.
Empty backfield. Harris to Myers again. Well, ball comes out. Gobble is right there to greet him. And it's a 3rd down coming up on that incompletion. So a drop for Myers, and just like that, Saskatchewan will have to punt it back.
Trey Vavil's done a pretty good job starting at that corner spot for Terrell Bonds for the Bombers. 3rd start on defense. In that very first game against Ottawa, he was tested. Had 7 tackles in that game. He had a knockdown, didn't really get beat.
And he'd already shown such value in special teams, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And again on the returns, and despite his presence on the defense, he's still getting quite involved in the return game, and there fell down up around the 38 for Collaros to come up, see what else they can do before halftime, and we will head to the studio. Kate, and Enoch, and Chezzy, and Milt Stegall as well. Some thoughts on this, and we got a doubleheader, of course. What a great time of year in the Canadian Football League. You got this rivalry, and then you have the Argos Ticats tomorrow, and you've got the Elks, who are really coming on, against the Calgary Stampeders, who, by the way, here the Stamps in 2nd place. Not only have they beaten them, they're 5-0 collectively. 3-0 against Winnipeg, 2-0 against Saskatchewan. The only 2 losses for the Riders have been to the Stampeders. And they got a guy named Adam Bighill for the Stampeders tomorrow, of course. Legend for Winnipeg. Several seasons thrown off to Oliveira. Right at the 39. Not much there.
Well, you know, when you think about this weekend, you know what comes to mind for me in the bigger picture? This is what is possible in our country with this game. You got 9 home games. You've got this one that's so intense. So great tradition.
The energy here, and I have never personally been to a Banjo Bowl, and I get to go do the rematch next week.
I love it.
I'm looking forward to that as well, but it is hard to match the intensity, the vibe you're getting here. In this sea of green, there is some blue sprinkled in as well. A lot of Bomber fans traveling with it. Great passion. That's a high point catch, and a good one there for Dylan Mitchell, up right at midfield, still with 1:23 to go until halftime.
Yeah, Dylan Mitchell is going to move the chains and give the Bombers a chance to put some more points on the board before halftime. Really nice catch to go up and get it. As far as those Bombers that are traveling, I talked to someone in the hotel, a Bomber fan covered in blue, said that there were like 10 buses or something. And here's a little hint. If you're in Labor Day in Saskatchewan, don't get a hotel room beside the ice machine.
Sound advice, always, especially in these circumstances here. There's Dalton Schoen in his first game back since back in early July, missing several games with a knee injury, and a welcome addition to that Bomber offense on the catch.
Not sure why the ice machine is so popular.
Just can't figure it out.
It's just weird.
Well, I believe Milt told me they used to, because they didn't want Rider fans to find out where the Bombers were staying, used to stay in Moose Jaw, didn't they? Not getting close to Regina, because if they found out the night before the game, they'd make sure they didn't sleep before the Labor Day Classic. 2nd and 6. Clarence quickly out. Caught by Mitchell again, right around the first down marker. Fields right there with him to take him down. See where they spot the football now.
Well, they're almost in field goal range based on Sergio Castillo's performances this year and his range this year. Very little, if any, wind in Mosaic tonight. Beautiful, calm night here in Saskatchewan. So they're basically in field goal range now. He's made a 63-yarder this year.
Did that in Calgary. He's had a couple of 60s before. In fact, beyond 50 yards, he's 6 of 7.
Yeah.
And his only miss against Ottawa in Winnipeg was a 57-yard try that ended up being returned for a touchdown, but still, Castillo is about as money as you can get from outside the 50-yard line, but we're not thinking about that quite yet. We got 59 seconds still, as signaled by Andre Proulx. It is indeed a first down secured by Dylan Mitchell.
No, absolutely not thinking about that yet. They've still got 59 seconds. I mean, there's time to run 4, 5, maybe 6 plays, but that checks the first box. Are we in field goal range yet? Because that's now, can change the play calling. It's like,
to the 35.
First of all, I love the call from Jason Hogan to go screen, knowing he's going to get some pressure in a big way from the Rider front 7. He's going to get some pressure, so he goes up, silent count.
And they get him. Collaros taken down. Ali Saad, their first draft pick in 2025. Gets himself a CFL sack on Zach Collaros, and a very timely one as well.
Down in that sprinter stance, interior going up against Gabe Wallace. Just a bull rush until Zach tried to escape, and then he tracked him down from there.
Taken 4th overall in the 25 draft out of Bowling Green, Ali Saad with his first CFL sack. And so here we go. Back at the 50, the ball will be put down by Jamison Sheehan. A 50-yard try. 2 returners are back, including Mario Alford. Dante Myers the other one. To get closer. Late in the half, it's heading right. It is wide. Rare miss Castillo, and Myers breaks it out, and Tanner Cadwalader picked him up and threw him back into the end zone. Myers took it out. Cadwalader lifted him and put him back in.
Tanner Cadwalader, one of the best special teams players in a long time with the Bombers. A Cal Murphy Heart of a Legend award winner last year for his work on the special teams, because Myers may have had something if he got outside and around and got down to the sideline on that side of the field. You see big Cam Lawson there. He gets around this tackle. Now they're going to put it on the 2-yard line and give him forward progress. The fact that he lands in the end zone.
So they did put it down. No safety awarded there, despite that play by Cadwalader to say to Myers, take a seat, after he brings it out of the end zone.
10 special teams tackles this year. That was a big one. Don't allow any last few seconds before the half excitement here at Mosaic for the Riders.
And so that's it. Taking a knee. Trevor Harris with an interesting first half. Took a while to get going. Then the points came. The first 10 for Winnipeg, and the next 14, or excuse me, for Saskatchewan, responding after being in a 10-point hole to get the next 14 points and a 4-point lead.
Both defenses playing pretty well. You think that first quarter, the Bomber defense took control, and then in the second quarter, the Saskatchewan front 4 got it going. 5th sack of the campaign for Malik Carney. Getting after number 8 in that first half.
Great pressure. 2 sacks and a forced fumble that set up a touchdown for Saskatchewan. And Malik Carney standing by now with Brett.
Malik, some massive defensive plays in those first 2 quarters, including one that helped put your team in scoring position. What do you make of what you've been able to do out there?
It's not me, it's the team. You know, we all rush together. We preach physicality, being relentless in our rush, and just making a havoc for the offense to get their plays off.
Still a close game out there, and knowing that it could come down to the final plays, what's important in the final 2 quarters?
Just being us. Just continue to be who we are. Just making turnovers, making it hard for the offense to do what they got to do, and again, just being who we are.
Thanks so much, Malik.
All right, thanks.
All right, Kate, we'll send it off to you and the panel.
All right, Brent, we've got ourselves a football game, 4-point game to be exact. Back alongside Enoch Mwamba, David Sanchez, Milt Stegall, and Malik Carney may not want to talk about himself. He wants to talk about his team. So guess what we're going to do? We're going to talk about him individually. Why not? Malik Carney, 2 sacks, 3 tackles, 1 forced fumble already in this game. And Milt, when the Bombers were up by 10, it was the Saskatchewan defense that turned things around. And it started with that man, Malik Carney. He has been fantastic tonight.
Yeah, and before I mention Malik Carney, I'll mention his other teammates, that defensive line coming into this game, maybe the best defensive line in the CFL. I think they had, 17, 18 sacks. You talk about Rhodes, you talk about Johnson, you talk about Ray, and let's talk about Carney and what he's done in his first half. He's wrecked shop. As Kate mentioned, 2 sacks, forced fumble. He had a tackle for loss. He's doing it all, and this is what you need out of your defensive linemen. If they can make plays like this, it makes it so much easier on your defensive backs. But he's not only making plays, he's setting up for his offense to go out there and make an easy touchdown. So this was a great first half out of his defensive line. They really put a lot of pressure on Zach. We saw the late sack by Saeed, their first-round pick this year. So they're making some plays with that defensive line. If they can continue doing this, I don't know where Winnipeg is going to be able to make some plays down the field because they're getting that pressure on Zach, and Zach just doesn't move as well as they used to in the past.
I got John Bowman on line 3. Wants to talk about his Calgary defensive line.
I know. My man John. I'm sorry, John. You know, we hyping up the game. That's how we do it, baby.
But Carney's doing an amazing job, and you can see the confidence that the defensive coordinators, the play callers are having with him because they're just isolating him with the guards. One time it was Neufeld, the other time it was Wallace. They're saying, hey, go ahead and eat, and he is doing just that.
Same thing that Calgary did last week to Sask. Got their edge guys lined up against guards and worked them. You see that was a huge mismatch. But look at Sask offensively, and what Winnipeg is doing to the Riders right now is it's strictly a numbers game. They're rushing 4 and sometimes 3, and they're still able to get some pressure on Trevor. And look at the numbers. If you're rushing 4, guys, that's 8 people dropping. So you look at the windows, and when then Trevor dropped back, there's Blue Bomber jerseys everywhere. Trevor never misses that throw. I mean, you saw some misses. Trevor just didn't seem on early in this game. There's a 3-man rush right there, and they're getting pressure with 3. Again, we saw the bull rush getting pressure with 3 at there. Rushing 3 or rushing 4, that's 8 people dropping, and they only get 5 people on the route. Simple math. On this play right here, they kept the back end to block. They had more in for protection than the Riders were bringing. They were able to get the ball down the field, so that was key. If Trevor has time and is comfortable, which he hasn't felt like he's been comfortable thus far, I think they can have success against this secondary. But they've done a great job, Jordan Younger has, getting tons of people in the windows, fogging up the picture for Trevor, and then getting pressure.
And you know what? The same thing can be said for Zach Collaros in this game, too. I mean, there's moments where he's looked really good, but then they are getting a lot of heat on him as well. The 1 touchdown drive, though, and all of a sudden he's got 172 yards in this game, but he underthrows the ball, and then all of a sudden he goes straight back to the deep ball. 2 throws, and then Claire CS ends up getting the touchdown. But I love the fact that he had the confidence to keep going down.
You have to admire the resilience from this player right here in Zach Collaros. I mean, he's been there before. They have this formation where they have Chris Ike. They come in, and they kind of let him roll out to the pocket on the right-hand side, and he knew he missed Clarence on that one, but he comes back the very next play and hits Dembski down the road, and you would think it would have been a double move, but it's right up the field, and Dembski does make right on that, and then he comes back, and again, this time, Clarence just makes a ridiculous catch right there and finishes the play, and that led to the touchdown. Now, that's been the best drive that this offense has had throughout the course of this game. They need to come back to a little bit more of that, where they sprinkle a little bit of Brady Oliveira in that drive as well, but Dembski was very much involved in that drive as well.
You know what? You could argue, though, that this could be a 14-14 ball game at this point. And I know, Milt, you're shaking your head because you know where I'm going on this one. It was the goal line stand. And kudos to the Riders' defense. They were great on this one. But when they didn't go back to Zach Collaros, you were furious.
Yeah, I didn't understand that. I understand on first down, you have Strebler in there because on the previous time when they had the ball, they gave it off to Brady and they scored. So they're going to try it on first down. I have no problem with that. But on second down, when you're like on a 4 or 5 yard line, you put in your quarterback. because that gives a threat that you can throw the ball, because they pretty much know we're struggling again. Yeah, he's not going to throw the ball. He's going to run it
with Zach. He's still running with him in there, but at least, like to your point, there's no threat.
There's no threat. I didn't like that.
I want to mention something we talked about quickly in the broadcast. We said, someone brought up, I think you might have mentioned it, is Nick Dembski a number one? You said it. Nick Dembski a number one receiver, and we all said no. But then we also all think that he's a top 9 receiver in this league. Yeah. This kind of tells you about Nick Dembski might not be an isolation number 1 guy, but if you're taking 9 receivers, he'll probably be in that top 9 because of all the great things he can do for your offense.
It's funny, though, if I want to get yards, though, and if I want a clutch guy down the stretch, I go to Nick Dembski every time. And that's why. And that's why maybe he's not a top 10. I get that. But he's a guy that I'm putting on my team each and every time.
He does so much for your team. He can return. He can play running back.
He's a Swiss Army knife.
Great breakdown,
sports. Most overused term in sports.
Are you mocking someone, Chad?
Everybody.
I've probably said it 900 times.
Nick Arbuckle. He was simply magnificent.
Arbuckle trying to kill the line. Touchdown. Arbuckle to throw. Looking deep again in the end zone. Touchdown. Nick Arbuckle has been relentless on this day.
How would you describe what's coming next in Hamilton during Labor Day?
Super fun opportunity to go toe-to-toe with one of the best quarterbacks, in CFL history.
Nick Arbuckle and the Toronto Argonauts coming off a 52-point performance. Hamilton comes off the bye. Bo Levi Mitchell, though, an incredible, perfect 7-0 record in the Labor Day Classic. That's your first game on Monday, and then your second game, it is the Battle of Alberta. The Stampeders have won 10 of their past 12 matchups and come into this one on a tear. They beat Winnipeg, they beat Saskatchewan, but the Elks, they have momentum on their side. They have won 3 straight. That is the longest winning streak currently in the CFL. 2 fantastic matchups. David Sanchez, which one are you most excited about?
Yeah, I'm looking at Edmonton-Calgary, and the reason why I want to see what Edmonton's all about. And they've won 3 in a row. Kudos to this team. They're playing good football, and I love it. The reality is that you only play who's on your schedule, who's in front of you. They beat them. But they've been 3 backup quarterbacks back-to-back. Montreal, Ottawa, Toronto, all with their backup quarterbacks. I'll tell you what, the Calgary Stampeders tomorrow, they're not playing their backup. They're playing a guy named Vernon Adams Jr. And let's see what happens when they play Vernon Adams. I want to see it. It's going to be a great matchup. I'm excited this one.
Ooh, I'm looking at the Toronto Argonauts versus the Hamilton Tiger Cats. That game is going to be interesting to see because you look at the Toronto Argonauts and what they were able to do against the BC Lions last week. I mean, 52 points. Nobody saw that coming against the BC Lions, but Nick Arbuckle, the way he's running this offense right now is absolutely impressive. And the numbers that he's been putting, almost 3,500 yards already on the season, leading the league. And we knew about Coxie coming into the season. We saw Herling Herslow coming in and into his own, especially last week, almost 150 yards. And then Makai Polk comes back onto the team. What kind of offense will show up on Labor Day game for this team? It's going to be absolutely impressive and exciting to watch.
Yeah, I think both of these games will be exciting, but I'm with you, Enoch. I'm excited about that Toronto-Hamilton game. Nick Arbuckle is playing lights out, 5 straight games over 300 yards. These Hamilton Tiger Cats, with Bo Levi mentioned that offense, they're trying to get back on track after losing 2 games. And you have something called offensive coordinators, but both of these guys are offensive composers. Scott Milanovich and, of course, my old buddy, what's his name? Ryan Dinwiddie. They know how to get some offenses going, so those are games I'm looking for.
The whole composer bit, you write that down?
I just came up with that.
That was good.
What did you just come up with? The VAJ? What was that?
I took that from you. You got him fast.
Wow.
Coming and they don't stop coming. Back to the rules and I'll hit the ground running. Didn't make sense. But the brain gets smart, but your head gets dumb. So much to do, so much to see. So what's wrong with thinking the back streets? You'll never know if you don't go. You won't shine if you don't go. Hey now, you're an all-star. Get your game on, go play.
halftime in the 60th Labor Day Classic between the Bombers and Riders, with Saskatchewan having a 4-point lead. Look at the halftime numbers now. A new addition to Winnipeg's roster, Dalton Schoenbach, after missing 6 games, 3 catches, 32 yards, and standing by now with Britt Dorn.
Well, Dalton, first off, welcome back. 3 catches in that first half for yourself. How did it feel to get back out there?
Feels good to be back out there. Obviously, it's a great atmosphere today, but at the end of the day, always great to be back out there with the boys.
Tight one out there as well. What was the biggest message for you guys to try to come out on top here today?
We just got to execute better, especially from an offensive standpoint. I don't think we played a very good half. Left ourselves in second and long a lot and didn't execute on second down. So ultimately just play some clean football.
Thanks for this one, Dalton.
Yeah, thanks, Britt.
The Bombers had the first 10 points. Got 3 more after a turnover deep in the Saskatchewan zone. Added the field goal to make it 10-0. But back-to-back touchdowns by Saskatchewan, including points off the turnover themselves. They have the 14-10 lead with Alford and Myers back for this kick by Sergio Castillo. Labor Day Classic 2025. The second half has begun, and Alford has it down at the Rider 5. They get the ball to start the second half, and a good return here by Alford. He's finally tackled up across the 40. It's by Connor Shea, and Trevor Harris looking at his first half. 7-12 for 132 and a touchdown pass.
Yeah, slow start for Trevor Harris and the Saskatchewan offense. Few 2-and-outs in that first quarter, but he did get things going when he started to get the receivers down the field a little bit further. Joe, who's returning from his NFL tryout, got involved in that second half. This was the big play down the middle, though, to Tommy Neal for the touchdown.
A 69-yarder in the third touchdown of the season for Tommy Neal. Hence the lead, 14-10. A.J. Ouellette, another carry for him. Hard to grind out those yards against that Bomber defense coming into the second half with 8 carries for 32 yards and a touchdown.
On the field. Winnipeg, 10-yard penalty, first down.
And too many on the field for the Blue Bombers, so good break here for the Riders as they get a first down via penalty.
I wonder if both these teams.
Too many players on the field. Winnipeg, 10-yard penalty first.
Jordan Younger's defensive coordinator is signaling the formation. Just had one too many out there. I think it was newcomer Jaden Woodby from Boston College that was on the field and wasn't supposed to be. He's the guy who went back to the sideline.
Just added to the lineup this week. There's Woodby off on the sideline now. First and 10 now up across the 50. Starting at the 51. Saskatchewan faking that time. Deep look left for Joe Robustelli. And Trey Vavel was right there on the coverage on Robustelli. Still without a catch in this game. Incomplete second down.
This is what I mean about Trey Vavel. Just 3 starts. This is his 3rd start on D. And he's been on the special teams, as we mentioned, the first half. But when he's been tested, and that was deliberate attempt to go after him. He's not a big corner. He's just under 6 feet. But I'll tell you what, he has shown up, and when tested, has come through.
Solid returner, as mentioned, with injury. Terrell Bonds getting that on the boundary corner. Another start. So some pressure coming on Harris, who tries to get rid of it. Vaughters just bats it away with his left hand as Cam Lawson was in, putting some heat on Harris. We got a 3rd down, and the punting unit will come on for Saskatchewan.
Now, that was dangerous. That there was Willie Jefferson. Lawson's going to get the pressure, and he causes the problem. But watch Jefferson as well. He's hanging out when Trevor Harris decides to just kind of flip this. There's number 5 is right around there, and he's got some ball skills.
An old receiver, Stephen F. Austin. Ian Vaughters in the mix there. The punt from Joe Couch from his 40. And Vavel has made the defensive play, and he's back there on the return across the 15, the 20, and out of bounds just across the 25 for Zach Collaros, who was 14 of 19 for 172 yards in that first half.
So 2 veteran quarterbacks going at it back and forth. Zach had the big first quarter. Felton Dalton shown a few times, get him back and activated in the lineup after being on the 6-game injured list. He got a deep ball to Dembski. This was the big catch by Clercius. Set up the touchdown for the Bombers.
So they'll start with their 26. Mentioned they had the first 10 points of this game before the Riders came storming back in the second quarter. Silent count. Collaros running out of time. More heat on him as he throws that one out of bounds. That Rider D-line, they've had a couple of sacks, 3 of them actually in that first half. A couple by Malik Carney, but more pressure there on Zach Collaros.
When Dalton Schoen was talking to Britt there just before the start of this half, Schoen mentioned that we've got to be better on first down. And if you're going to be better on first down, that guy right there, number 20 in the huddle, he's got to become more involved than he has been for the Bombers in this game. And just 4 touches in that first half for 16 yards.
This crowded mosaic trying to make life a whole lot harder for Collaros and the Winnipeg offense now. Noise picks up. Second down and 10 for the 26. Pressure. Micah Johnson has it. He's the latest to add to his sack total. That relentless Rider defensive line strikes again for Micah Johnson. His 6th sack of the season.
Two great pros, Chris Kolinkowski, the center, and Micah Johnson right here in the 3-point stance are just going to battle it out until Johnson keeps pushing, fighting. Good block so far, but when Zach Collaros tries to escape, Kolinkowski doesn't know where he's escaping, and that's when Johnson reacts and gets a sack.
Sack number 6 for Micah Johnson. Carney has 6 in the season now with 2. Ali Saad has 1. So they have 4 sacks to Zach Collaros, and the Bombers, just like that, are forced to punt it away.
We talked to Zach this week and asked him about that D-line. I mentioned Mike Rose in that edition.
Yeah.
He mentioned without asking the question about Rose, but said this defensive line in Saskatchewan may be the best in the league. Of course, we kept his own teammates out of that conversation.
Jamison Sheehan punting again. Alford in at the 45. It's a good field position for the Riders. Venturing into the Winnipeg zone is Alford. Gets it across midfield. Down to the 50. There they are. After celebrating another sack of Zach. Defense is dominating the start of the second half, but a good return, 18 yards by Mario Alford, and Trevor Harris and the Riders get the start of the Bombers zone. They're right at the 50. They lead by 4. 14-10 in the 60th Labor Day Classic between Winnipeg and Saskatchewan. Harris goes to work. Off to the left to Tommy Neal with a big touchdown in the first half. A little jump there in his step over Cam Allen as he picks up another couple of yards and down closer to a first down to set up a second and short.
Tommy Neal, as an athlete, is starting to become a trend in the league. I mean, he's been around 5 years, so don't get me wrong, this isn't brand new for him. But at his size, at 6'3", 203, kind of like Javon Catoy in Vancouver. Think of Mital in Toronto. You know, these bigger, almost tight end-like players.
In his 5th year at McMaster, so back to the ground. Ouellette looking to get that first down. He was 3 yards shy, and he does indeed have it. As this drive will continue for Saskatchewan, getting a little bit closer now and looking to add to that 4-point lead. Get it down to the 40, just inside for a first down.
Corey Mace told us that they're close to getting Sam Emelis back in the lineup. Very close to getting Keon Schaefer-Baker back in the lineup.
Loaded in receiving talent.
And Joe just showed up.
Back to Ouellette. Breaking tackles. That train is running that time. Final one there, Jay Person to take Ouellette down. But another good pickup on the ground. Trying to get him going. And second down and about 4 to go here for the Riders.
That's just an effort play from A.J. Ouellette. I mean, he could have been stopped at the line of scrimmage twice. Broke 3 or 4 tackles. Great production on first down and all through effort.
Well, still averaging just over 4 yards a carry. The Bombers had done a good job with him for the most part in the first half, but let's see if they can wear him down. Keep giving it to 45. We'll see now. It's a 2nd and 3. Looking to throw to the right. It is caught. Another first down. Keyshawn Johnson taken down there by Dexter Lawson and Evan Holm, but not before Saskatchewan moves the sticks again.
This drive set up by a nice return from Mario Alford. That's the slot back position. They've moved Keyshawn Johnson in after the first few weeks of the season into that slot back, get him closer to Trevor Harris. And because he comes back towards the line of scrimmage, he creates just enough separation between he and Evan Holm.
The Riders have 14 unanswered points. They lead by 4. They have it down to the Winnipeg 26 now. Early in the second half. Faking the handoff and trying to dump it off for a Joe with Michael Griffin there. That ball was low, though, as Harris had to get rid of it in a hurry. Incomplete, 2nd down.
Yeah, he had a Bomber D lineman in his face right off the edge and had to throw it around that rush. It's Kyrie Wilson again. Saw him tip one in the first half. That affected the flight of the ball.
Let back in after Mario Anderson was a running back on that last play. 2nd down and 10 from the Winnipeg 26. Harris, pressure coming, tries to get away from it, gets rid of the ball, but no, it's just off the fingertips there of Neild with Allen in on him, and some heat was coming in on Harris with Jake Thomas bearing down just before he threw it.
Trips into the boundary. That's 3 receiver side. And this is just scramble play. So Neil's runs his dig route and then is just trying to find an opening to give his quarterback a target as he scrambles around. And they just miss. Now Brett Lawther gets a chance to make a field goal, and it has been quite a season for Lawther.
Lawther 0 for 1 last week in Calgary. Had a tough one against Hamilton a couple of weeks ago, but that is perfect for the veteran kicker Brett Lawther, who makes it 17 unanswered points. Saskatchewan now, and a 17-10 lead in the 60th Labor Day Classic. Weekend, quite a treat. Including this right now in a couple of games and a couple more Labor Day Classics tomorrow in Hamilton and in Calgary. The tradition continues, and got a good one brewing here. Crowd picking up again. As the Riders at 3, they lead it by 7. Colares and the Bombers with the ball now from their 40. Faking to Logan, rolling right, and coming back to the ball is the ever-reliable Nick Dembski. As Colares hits his favorite target there for a first down.
Yeah, when this offense is struggling a little bit, they've had a couple of 2-and-outs. The guy they're going to try and get going is Dembski. He's going to be the guy to give him a little bit of momentum, get that first down, and start to get rolling. I'm still quite surprised. And listen, respect for the Saskatchewan defense I get, but quite surprised that number 20 hasn't been used very much in this one.
As for number 10, for Dembski on that catch, he now goes over 6,000 yards on his great career. 4 catches, 53 in this game, and a first down around the 50. Rolling right again, Colares. Short pass to Dembski again, and he does something with it afterwards. First down and more, down around the 45, just inside of Saskatchewan. So here come the Bombers.
So this play, just if you're wondering why Jason Hogan isn't calling plays to Brady Oliveira, well, this play is a potential handoff to Oliveira, but Zach decides, and it's up to him, what he wants to do with it. If he pulls it, and now he goes outside, throws it to Dembski, they get another fresh set of downs on that play. But that's back-to-back plays where the decision was Zach Colares's. Jason Hogan called the play where Oliveira could have been involved.
From the Rider 45, little toss. Garrett Wheatfall, he eludes Shane Ray, and he picks up about 3 yards. He could have been tackled behind the line, so good work after taking that little toss pass by Wheatfall.
I just wonder because of the game Brady Oliveira had last week. I mean, against Montreal, with 2 receivers going down, and actually Chris Streveler having to play receiver for a while in that game, they leaned big time on Oliveira, and he delivered 137 yards rushing, and he can catch it out of the backfield now. Michael Shea made a point of that in our conversation with him this week. He's got great hands coming out of the backfield.
Somewhat stunning to look at the stat sheet on this day. 4 carries for 16 yards for Oliveira. That's it. That includes a 5-yard touchdown run. Wheatfall gained 3. 2nd and 7. Collaros deep over the middle. It's caught, sitting down right away, but a big catch for Dalton Schoen in his first game back in nearly 2 months, and another first down for the Bombers.
You know, both when you look at both Brady Oliveira and Nick Dembski, they're good friends, teammates, and look at Oliveira trying to get Dembski get in a little tighter so that Shane Ray has to bubble, because I'm going to take the inside guy and help my offensive line so my quarterback can find our receiver.
You see Collaros suits thread the needle there with Jameer Thurman trying to get his hands on that ball. Goes right into Dalton Schoen. And his 4th catch for 52 yards. Winnipeg, shot to the end zone. Touchdown, Dembski. Does it again. Labor Day Classic touchdown for a guy that knows both sides of this rivalry.
This is what Zach Collaros said to us. I mentioned it in the first half, but he said Nick Dembski is our best player. Direct quote from the starting quarterback and future Hall of Famer. He's our best player. That was the Nick Dembski drive.
And with that, Zach Collaros is now alone 3rd all-time in the most touchdown passes in Bombers history, behind Dieter Brock and Kahari Jones. He moves ahead of Kenny Plain. And that patented move, rolling out to the right and finding an open receiver in the end zone. Collaros to Dembski again, and a point after try away from tying this Labor Day Classic. Sergio Castillo gets it done. 17-17. 3rd quarter. What you might expect from a classic. All even again. Collaros to Dembski in Regina. Thunder.
Coming in, led this team in targets, receptions, 2nd down catches, yards, and watch the route running and the subtlety from Dembski. Watch when he gets Fields' turns here and how he uses his right hand to create separation. He's going back to the corner route here. Watch the right hand. Off the shoulder of the DB, a subtle push with the left hand. There's the separation he needed, and now Zach has to drop it over the outside shoulder. Throw is bang on.
7th touchdown of the season for Nick Dembski, who earlier made it 82 straight games with a catch. The current active leader in that department. So we get a tie game, and Mario Alford goes down. He was hit just across the 20, about the 23 for Saskatchewan. Over to you, Trevor Harris, now, after that 5-play, 70-yard touchdown drive for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
How many of those plays were to number 10?
And a couple to 10. Yeah, 3 of them to 10. And the big one, too, to Dalton Schoen for 20 yards to get them down closer.
Swing that, swing that, swing that.
An injured Bomber down in the field around the Rider 15.
That's Ethan
like
Ball.
Ethan Ball.
6th-round draft pick for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers last year. Has done a real nice job in his last 6 games covering kicks. Handful of special teams tackles coming in. He was the guy who made first contact on this cover. And then when he got up, looked like he got something tweaked in the calf.
Ethan Ball, the rookie out of the University of Calgary, still down. Back in a moment.
Lucky Whitehead in the end zone if Lowther misses. And Brett Lowther doesn't do that. It's a walk-off game winner for Brett Lowther and the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And it's the Lowther leap.
Heading to Bill Country after that kick.
Oh, a moment Brett Lowther will never forget. And he had another one this week, too, Brett.
Yeah, and maybe it's one that'll give him an extra boost out here again today as he officially welcomed his first child into the world on Wednesday. Congrats to him and his wife Jill on the birth of their baby girl. Towns Marianne Lowther, of course, was born on Wednesday. I went up to him and congratulated him before the game. I asked him, "How does it feel, Dad?" He said, "Well, I'm tired."
He's tired. How about Jill? Thank you, Britt. Congratulations to them both, and welcome addition to the Lawler family. Saskatchewan with the ball after that touchdown by Dembski up across the 25.
Listen, I mentioned it's been a grind this season for Brett Lawler, and the inconsistency has been an issue. It's been a topic of discussion here in this province all season long. And now you know one of the distractions that were going on for Brett Lawler, that his wife was pregnant, and you know as a father how difficult that is, and just make all the worry and the loss of sleep, hoping that everyone's healthy, and they are, which is excellent. That weight is now lifted off his shoulder, and he's made one tonight.
And how many times have we seen it come down to a field goal in this classic? Who knows? Tie game. Dante Myers has the catch, has the Rider first down up across the Saskatchewan 40.
Yeah, it's getting fun to watch Dante Myers and Keyshawn Johnson in this receiving core just sort of grow as the season goes on. Become better route runners every game, making these big plays. Mentioned Myers has been the deep threat, but they can both get in behind coverage. And they'll move him around, and this is looks like Trevor Harris having trouble getting the call here.
7:47. 14.
Well, it's Keyshawn Johnson that's led them in yardage. Myers, big play receiver, leading them in touchdowns with 6. They get a tie game at 17. It's up at the 42. Saskatchewan and a first down. A.J. Ouellette cuts it back left. And a good decision there as he picks up some good yardage up closer to the 50, about the 49. That'll set up another second and short for Saskatchewan.
The fullbacks get involved. Watch Albert Awachi come out and get a block, as A.J. Ouellette's going to be patient with this run. It's off to the right side. Doesn't like it. Awachi's got his man tied up. And that allowed, and it was Vaughters, and that allows A.J. Ouellette to get production on first down.
11 carries, 48 yards, and a touchdown.
And a great hit of hair. Just a great hit of hair.
He does. Loves to flaunt it, too. Taking that helmet off. On right now, though, on a big second down and short with Harris to throw it. And it is caught by Johnson. First down, they get it up across midfield.
That's what I mean about the route running. Watch Keyshawn Johnson get a nice look at his route running. Little inside stem, and it's a speed cut to the outside. They drop him, and Nichols ends up picking him up, but he's a step late. And Trevor Harris gets a new set of downs.
That's with Mario Anderson, number 24, in at running back for the Riders. Spelling Ouellette. Right around midfield in this tie ball game. Faking to Anderson. Quickly over the middle. Juggled and caught by Robustelli. Gets it inside the Bomber 40. And another first down for the Riders.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's great concentration by Joe Robustelli to look around the linebacker dropping and make the one-hander pull it back to himself, because that was well behind him. And the reason for that is that Tony Jones had dropped underneath that. He almost had the interception. In fact, I think he got his hands on it. Robustelli maintains concentration and keeps this drive alive.
All the injuries to Rider receivers. Robustelli got his chance. He's made the most of it now. Second catch tonight. Quickly again. That's Myers. Harris went right to the right as he brought it down, gets it inside the 30, and Saskatchewan's got something going now.
Well, Zach Collaros has passed Dieter Brock on the all-time list. Kent Austin passed a former Saskatchewan Roughrider with that last throw on the list, and that is Kent Austin, former teammate of mine back in the day, and a former coach in the Canadian Football League for many years as well. So moving up the list, both these veteran quarterbacks.
You saw Brock at 15. He's actually at 16 now because Collaros has passed him earlier. So both of them moving up the charts on this night. Trevor Harris now, 13th all-time. There's Mario Anderson breaking it off inside the 10-5. Touchdown Riders. What an answer by the green and white. They have the lead again.
Mario Anderson, last 3 games with just 8 touches. He comes in and spells A.J. Ouellette when he needs a rest, but he brings something different to the table. Look at that burst of speed in the hole. Nice low center of gravity, tough to bring down. His first major for the Roughriders.
The great burst, and then it looked like Trey Vavel had him, and he broke that tackle around the 5 and took it in. Mario Anderson spelling off A.J. Ouellette in the best way possible. Another touchdown on the ground for Rider running backs. Brett Lother putting it left and missed that point after. And be hearing about it a bit too. There's been a lot of heat on him lately, as you talked about. So it's a 6-point game. But Mario Anderson has the touchdown that give the Riders a lead again.
Let's go back to the touchdown. First of all, nice block off the edge from Albert Owachi again. And watch the down block here from Jamarcus Hardrick. Bramer's going to pull and get outside and help out on Owachi. There's the down block by Hardrick. Owachi on the edge player. And Mario Anderson through that hole. There's the burst to outrun any angle from the DBs. And he's in the end zone.
And his first CFL touchdown, number 24, Mario Anderson, to put the Riders on top again.
That's a couple big blocks from Owachi.
Takes it in. Riders lead, but the missed point after try, so it's a 6-point game. And there's Andrew Harris, known very well as a former Blue Bomber and up against his old team where he had so many great years in Winnipeg, of course. Now the running backs coach and enjoying a moment there with one of his running backs, Anderson.
Hey, see that weak shoulder?
Andrew Harris knew the Labor Day Classic a bit from the other side.
Totally, and Brady Oliveira and him are good friends, and Harris has been a mentor for Oliveira as well.
Like he was a coach back in his playing days, too. There's Peyton Logan running into his own man and finally gets circled by green and white just up across the 30 for Logan on the return. It was a 4-point game at halftime. It is now a 6-point game. They trade points. A touchdown for Dembski. And coming back the other way, a touchdown for Mario Anderson. Labor Day Classic in Regina, 23-17 Saskatchewan. Born to be wild. Through 3 quarters, in many ways looking like another classic between these two teams. But the one thing that is stunning as you look at these stat suits, only 15 yards rushing for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Yeah, when Brady Oliveira last week had over 130 yards rushing, just 15 and just a few touches. So, yeah, that is a bit of a surprise. Although, as we showed you in the third quarter, there has been times when the play call from Jason Hogan has been the option to give it to Brady or for Zach Collaros to pull it and then look for Dembski or someone else down the field to either run and throw. So there is times when a play call has given the option to Zach Collaros. He's just chosen to pull it.
Well, these two offenses finding their groove late in the third quarter. The last time the Bombers had the ball, they drove down 5 plays. Touchdown pass, Collaros to Dembski. And after Saskatchewan went ahead again, a missed point after makes it a 6-point game to start the final 15. Setting up a screen to Oliveira at the 30. 35, puts his head down. Carney is in there. Few riders, too. A.J. Allen as well in on that tackle of Brady Oliveira, 2nd down.
Yeah, and this is another way to do that is the short passing game. Screen play, screen game, little swing passes. Those are basically extended runs. And that play from Jason Hogan was designed to go to Oliveira. No choice or no option there. Well, unless he was covered down and then Zach could have made it up as he went along.
So Oliveira gets 6. It's a 2nd and 4. Crowd picking up here again at Mosaic. Their Riders leading by 6. It's a tight one. 23-17. Handing off that time to Oliveira. Finds a hole and more. Still on his feet. And a flag does come out. Back closer to the original line of scrimmage, but that would be easily enough for another first down.
Winnipeg, no end, 5-yard penalty. We're going to replay 2nd down.
But no, penalties against the Bombers on 4 procedures, so it's coming back.
That an illegal formation where the offensive line has to be covered by a receiver. The officials didn't see that, and it takes a momentum-building play off the board for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Because that was the kind of play that they rally around. The extra effort from Oliveira, the extra yards at the end of the run. And now they're in second and 9.
Instead of what would have been a big first down for the Bombers, trailing by 6. Yeah, 8 touches, 16 yards. Rushing. That's it. Second and 9. Quick hitter over the middle. Good work after the catch, too, by Dylan Mitchell. Great work after he caught that football to get the first down across the 45.
Yeah, Dylan Mitchell, great route here by Mitchell. He's going to go inside, a little bit of a waggle, be patient with the route so he doesn't run into that next defender, which was Roland Milligan. Was patient till the ball arrived and then did a little extra lifting after the catch.
Mitchell, just his 5th game with the Bombers, signing as a free agent in the offseason for 3 seasons with the Edmonton Elks. And we have a challenge coming up here. Corey Mays talking things over with Andre Proulx.
Saskatchewan is challenging the previous play for offensive pass interference by Winnipeg number 10. The play will be reviewed by the replay center.
There you go. Accusing Nick Dembski of offensive pass interference. So the replay center will review that and deliberate and make a decision in a few moments. A quick look as we head to break on that play.
Yeah, this is exactly, that's called blocking downfield and is a penalty.
Well, here's the decision from the replay center.
Upon review by the replay center, there was offensive pass interference on Winnipeg number 10. 10-yard penalty. It remains second down.
So basically a pick down the field. Right. I mean, it's blocking before the ball was caught. And it goes under that same category as offensive pass interference. So good challenge by Corey Mays to see it, have his spotters see it, and take that first down off the board.
Yeah, negates another first down, pushes them 10 back, and that was a 2nd and 9. So now a 2nd and 19. And Winnipeg is pushed back to their 22. Just under 13 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. 2 penalties negating first downs in this drive by Winnipeg with 4 receivers to the right. They don't get it off. It's another penalty with the crowd helping out.
Time down violation. Winnipeg number 8. 5-yard penalty. It remains second down.
Yeah, you want a crowd to get louder. That'll help.
Yeah. This is the crowd. That's the crowd-generated penalty right there because the receivers, as they were hitting the line of scrimmage, couldn't hear Zach Collaros. They had to look down the line. He had to hold them at the line, so the timing on the waggle was completely off, and they get the procedure call.
Back to their 17 now. They're going backwards. Get a 2nd down and 24 now. Setting up a draw to Oliveira. And working his way up across the 25. The ball comes out. The Riders have the football. And what's the ruling here by the officials?
Well, was he down? Was he down? Whole bunch of field position at stake on this. Tough to see the right knee.
Was that right knee down before the ball came out?
They haven't made a ruling yet. They're conferencing on whether or not the right knee was down before the ball came out.
That is so close. What a big moment this would be. What a big decision.
The ruling in the field is the ball carrier fumbled the football prior to his knee being on the ground. Therefore, Saskatchewan will have the ball. We also have have an objectionable conduct penalty on Saskatchewan number 42. We're going to go back 10 yards. Saskatchewan football.
On that second and long, Brady Oliveira got some of it back, but that ball came out just as the knee was hitting the turf. It is ruled a fumble. It's Saskatchewan football.
A.J. Allen hustles over to make the hit and then strips Brady Oliveira.
Had a big turnover in the first half. One play later led to an A.J. Ouellette touchdown. Points off turnovers. -8 coming in for Winnipeg. It bites them here. Saskatchewan ball. A.J. Ouellette breaking through. Had that touchdown in the first half and has a good carry right there. Getting deeper into the Bombers zone with their 6-point lead.
I guarantee you A.J. Ouellette has learned this patience in the hole from Andrew Harris. He presses the line of scrimmage, and he's going to wait for his blocks to be set up so his O-line gets the angles they need so he can break one way or the other. That's vintage Andrew Harris right there.
And they're back in the territory of the running back again on a second down and a yard. It's actually Tommy Stevens out for short yardage. Short yardage QB does as he often does. He keeps his feet and he gets some more. Big Tommy Stevens running hard. Gets it down to about the 17 of Winnipeg in a first down.
I'll tell you what, we got two great short yardage quarterbacks in this game, don't we? Tommy Stevens is one of them. Watch the extra effort from Stevens at 245 pounds. He wants to get involved in this game, and if we haven't seen a lot of the short yardage plays in this one, but we have seen a little of Chris Streveler, and Streveler is a similar player.
Harris back in. Riders pressing. Up 6. Back to Ouellette. Breaks it right. The A.J. train inside the 10. And now he's down inside the 5. And we got a first and goal coming up here for Saskatchewan.
Didn't catch the number of the Bomber who had a chance with about a 2-yard gain. When A.J. Ouellette breaks to the right here, Joe is helping out on Jefferson. There it is right there. Dietrich Nichols had a shot at him. If he gets him there, he's about a yard past the line of scrimmage, but A.J. Ouellette jumped out of that tackle in a hurry.
He has 13 carries, 70 yards, and a touchdown. He gets a break. Mario Anderson at a touchdown earlier in this half is in, has the ball. 3, 2, 1, pushing towards the end zone, and another Saskatchewan touchdown. Anderson again. Riders add to their lead with more points off turnovers.
Now here's a question, Coach Smith. Do you go for 2 because Brett Lowther missed on the extra point on the last touchdown from Anderson?
12-point game. I think you would.
But let's take a look at the blocking up front, and Mario Anderson getting a chance to get not just 1 but 2 touchdowns, his first 2 in Canadian football. And he goes with the help of his O-line. He goes through Tony Jones to get there on the second one.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Both fouls occur after the touchdown. First one, misconduct 15-yard penalty on 62 Saskatchewan. Misconduct penalty on Winnipeg number 0. Both penalty offset each other. Convert.
So it's the left tackle, Peyton Collins, and the safety for Winnipeg, Cam Allen. The bottom line, they negate each other, and it's another touchdown for Mario Anderson in his first year out of Memphis. And they will indeed, Coach Suter, be going for 2. See if they can make it a 14-point game. It stands at 12 right now. The 2-point try with the ball placed Unleashed at the 3 for Trevor Harris and the Rider offense. On here, we'll see if they can make it a 14-point game. Looks to throw to the left. Wide open, they get it. Joe makes his presence felt in his return to Saskatchewan.
Boy, he quickly became a crowd favorite here. They'd love to have him back in the green and white.
Off the fumble recovery. Anderson finishes it off with 2 more and some icing on the cake for a Joe in a 14-point game. One of the trademarks of the Labor Day Classic between these two teams is it's always close at the end. Well, Saskatchewan would like to change that trend. Brady Oliveira, not like last week against Montreal. The Riders defense has done a good job against him. He's got another touchdown from Mario Anderson as Lothar kicks off. Now a 14-point Saskatchewan lead with under 10 minutes to go. Peyton Logan has it. And he is taken down with a flag coming down as well. A.J. Ouellette, productive game, has a touchdown, and so does the other running back. 2 touchdowns for Mario Anderson.
Yeah, it's an ideal situation when A.J. Ouellette does a lot of the heavy lifting. He's got 13 carries, 70 yards, and then you put fresh legs out there. Get Mario Anderson with those fresh legs. He's got a little hop in his step and gets his first 2 majors in Canadian football. A little bit excited, you think, on Labor Day?
And they came on his last 2 touches, so 3 touchdowns on the ground for the Riders. 1 Ouellette, 2 Anderson.
There is no infraction on the play.
So no penalty there. But in 13 games, I should say, with Memphis last year, 1,362 yards rushing and 18 touchdowns for that man, Mario Anderson. First year in the Canadian Football League and having his best day as a pro, to be sure. In this Labor Day Classic, 9.5 minutes to go. Rider fans picking up. It's 31-17 is the sun setting on Winnipeg. Off to Dembski. In behind the line and works his way up closer to the line of scrimmage and no further than that. Dembski. They're all over him. DeMarcus Fields coming in.
You know, a two-possession lead, your defense plays with great confidence. That's my Captain Obvious moment right there. But that's also where you can maybe get a double move in behind him. That would, for me, if you're the Bombers, you're looking at Carrick Wheatfall possibly, or Dembski. But you get that double move because they're playing so aggressively with a 2-possession lead.
And it's a 2nd and long now, loss of about a foot. So more than 10 yards for the Bombers, and Collaros now facing the heat. And he dumps it off for Oliveira and just threw it a little too far for him to catch. So the Rider defense toughening up here at a critical point in this game. And brings a little smile to the face of their head coach as Winnipeg's going to have to punt the ball again.
Now, if you thought we saw a lot of A.J. Ouellette and Mario Anderson previous, with 8:33 to go and a 2-possession lead, I know they'll lead on that running game.
Mario Alford. One very impressive return that certainly helped the Riders out in this game in his first game back. Time to go back to work for Ouellette after Anderson did some heavy lifting. Rider football, 8:26 on the clock, 4th quarter. CFL OK Tire Labor Day weekend action started today, and it resumes tomorrow with a doubleheader. The Argos taking on the Hamilton Tiger Cats, 2 Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific time, and then the Calgary Stampeders, watching closely, I'm sure, in second in the West at 7-3, host the Edmonton Elks, the Alberta rivalry. And the Elks, Mark Killam, finally got something going, stringing some wins together.
Yes, he does. And remember, Labor Day weekend, the records don't seem to matter as much.
All bets are off. Yeah. It's the Riders in this latest meeting. They lost last year. They've lost 3 of 4 to Winnipeg. But they're up 14 right now. On the ground, the running game has been a difference in this. Saskatchewan has certainly run the football with 2 backs better than Winnipeg has.
Yeah, 112 plus whatever A.J. Ouellette just got on that run versus the Bombers, who usually really lean on that run game with Brady Oliveira with just 23 yards rushing this game to this point. And now down 2 possessions. They got to get chunks. Try and come back, but it starts with a stop on D.
And a big 2nd and 5 now after that pickup by Ouellette. See that penalty yardage. Harris swinging it out to Ouellette, cuts it back and spins, tries to pull his way across the 50, still shy of a first down though, so the Bomber defense does its job, as it looks like the Riders will have to kick it away.
Yeah, the defense does what they needed to do to cue the comeback if there's going to be one, and they get the stop on 2nd down. You know, this Bomber team throughout the last 5 years in their 5 appearances in the Grey Cup out of the West Division, there's been sort of the formula, running the ball. They're behind in that category for Michael O'Shea in this game tonight. The giveaway takeaway category, they're behind again in that category here tonight. And then penalties. They've always been tops in the league in those 3 categories in their 5 years at the Grey Cup.
Uncharacteristic is Joe Couch from his 40. And Trey Vavel, one of the top returners this season in the CFL. Bombers can use a big return coming up. Coverage, though, is good as he turns it back to the right. That's Aaron Patrick coming in on special teams to stop him right at the 21. Back comes Collaros and the Winnipeg offense, and they've got some work to do now. 6:20 on the clock in the 4th quarter. Winnipeg trailing now by 14.
Yes, but 6:20, plenty of time in Canadian football, down 2 possessions. I've seen many a comeback, in fact, in the final 3 minutes of the game, down 2 possessions.
Not just the CFL in general, but these Labor Day Classics. These 2 teams, it happened with the Riders, down a couple of touchdowns in the 2nd half. They, in the dying minutes last year in this field, were down 8 points. They came back with a touchdown, missed the 2-point convert, but had a chance to win it. It was deflected at the line and intended there for Kevin Sklarcius. And DeMarcus Field is in on him. It's incomplete at 2nd down.
In order to eliminate the double move opportunity for Zach Collaros against an aggressive defense up by 2 scores, Corey Mace goes with full pressure. Free guy off the edge, and Baldonado got his hand on that.
Baldonado touched it, but it still went Claricius's way, and coverage was good. 2nd and 10. This crowd is animated, is energetic, is lively, as they have been here at Mosaic. Feeling the moment on Labor Day. Collaros gets rid of it. No, intended for Schoen, and Milligan was right with him, and he can't control the football, and it heads out of bounds. And it's 3rd down and 10. Sheehan will come on to punt it away.
Last year's top defender in the league is finding his game again as this season has gone on. Mentioned the 4 interceptions for Roland Milligan. That tied the lead coming in, and he just runs Schoen out of bounds here. Quick close from number 0.
So Sheehan the punt. Alford waits for it at the 41. Saskatchewan has some room in midfield, and he's got more. Cutting it back. 45 fumbles the football, and the Bombers have it. Just on a great return there by Alford. It is Jake Kelly coming up with a big turnover for Winnipeg.
Take a look at how that ball got hit and tackled. Kelly from behind is going to regroup. There's that's where it got punched out. Kelly recovered it. Kyrie Wilson on the cover teams. He punches it out. Another big play. Huge game. Can this be the play?
Well, we talked about how the turnovers are hurting Winnipeg in this game. Big one in their favor. They're at their 46. They get the ball again. Collaros over the middle, and it's caught in a crowd by Claricius. Claricius had a big one in the first half, and that one he hangs onto the football and takes a hit down inside about the 42 of Saskatchewan.
Well, Kevin Claricius knows he's going to get hit here, and he braces for it. And in fact, Jackson Ford probably got the worst of it. That's a big receiver over the middle.
Big target, catches it, hangs on. Had a beautiful Kenny Lawler-like grab back in the first half. Helped set them up for a touchdown. We're in the Riders zone. 4:24 on the clock. Down 14. Collaros gets it away. Claricius again inside the 35, down to about the 33, and that is close to another Winnipeg first down. Collaros taking a hit on that pass.
Yeah, that D-line's getting there. Claricius might have to go off.
Timeout. Winnipeg, timer, please reset the game clock to read 4 minutes, 11 seconds. 4:11, please.
I believe that was Malik Carney providing the pressure on that one. Looked like Claricius got up and was shaking his head a little bit.
Stays in the huddle. Some big catches for second-year receiver Kevin Claricius. You saw the hit taken by Collaros. He was knocked out of this game a year ago and a hit by Miles Brown. Second and 1 after that pickup. Collaros to throw on that second down. Chucks it deep into the end zone. Touchdown, Winnipeg! Wow! After the turnover, they answer quickly. It is Carrick Wheatfall with the touchdown, and don't look now, the Bombers are back within a score.
Well, and the key block on the play is from Brady Oliveira to give Zach Collaros a chance to climb up in the pocket and find his receiver down the field. That's a huge block on a free man off the edge. Without that block, the play is dead, but it's kept alive by Brady Oliveira, and that gives Zach Collaros a chance to drop it in over the shoulder of Wheatfall.
Carrick Wheatfall, in his second year with the Bombers, has his third touchdown catch of the season in what had been a quieter game for him. Just his second catch, 36-yarder, and the kick was good by Castillo, so it's a 7-point difference again.
Take a look at the route run by Wheatfall. The guy that early in the season was the deep threat, and in the last 4 or 5 games has been quieter on those deep balls. You haven't seen as many of them. In the first 3 games, 5 explosives. In the last 6, 0. He had one last week, a 32-yarder. And they get him going again when they need him most. Now it's a one-possession game.
In 5 of the last 6 years, the Labor Day Classic between these two teams has been a one-possession game heading into the final 3 minutes. 3:57 on the clock here at Mosaic Stadium. 7-point difference after the Wheatfall touchdown. Riders still leading, but only by a touchdown. It's about as quiet as I've heard this crowd this afternoon or this evening.
Yeah, touchdown by the Bombers will do that quickly, make it one possession, and now goes to Trevor Harris. His turn.
Dante Myers on the return. Up to about the 37. And the tackle there by Woodby. So Trevor Harris back on. By no means is this over yet. Still plenty of time. 3:51 after a 3-play, 64-yard drive. After the fumble, Mario Alford gave the Bombers good field position to start their drive at their 46.
And Trevor Harris doesn't have to get conservative here. There's too much time left. Got to run the offense, which has been a little mixture of A.J. Ouellette, some Mario Anderson, and then the ball to Myers or Keyshawn Johnson.
Across their 35 now. First down. Harris. Ouellette, left side, spinning. And he works his way up. A good pickup on first down. And lost his hat there with that flowing hair coming out up to around the 43. Second down coming up.
I said, I think the crowd is reacting to a replay that there was
my goodness,
big time face mask by Cam Lawson.
A blatant face mask by Cameron Lawson, as Ouellette can't believe there wasn't a flag. A second down, 3 yards to go after that, or call it 4 after that pickup by Ouellette. Back to him. Cuts it back inside and gets pulled back again. Shy of the first down. Got it just across the 45, but still
just
a few yards ago. It's getting very rough in there in the trenches for the Riders and the Bombers. Expect anything less on a Labor Day Classic. A one-score difference, 7-point ball game. Riders trying to hang on. A reminder as we look at the beautiful half moon and the Sea of Tranquility. Not tranquil here. And OK Tire Labor Day weekend continues with a doubleheader. Tomorrow, Argonauts, Tiger Cats, followed by, in Calgary, tradition, the Alberta teams, the Elks, the Stampeders, 5:30 Eastern, 2:30 p.m. Pacific time. Labor Day weekend, and a classic way to start here in a one-score game at Mosaic. The 60th Labor Day meeting between the Bombers and the Riders is not disappointed. Third and short. Tommy Stevens on, up around their 46. On this third down play to get the first down, and Stevens does. Almost automatic for number 17. The lunges ahead. The drive continues for Saskatchewan with 2.5 minutes to go.
Now you're inside the 3-minute warning. Now it's a chance for Trevor Harris to try and grind the clock. 3 or 4 first downs together should do it. And from the Bombers' perspective, not only they have to fill the hole, make those tackles, especially on first down, but now have to try to rip the ball out, like try to tackle the football. Something that teams work on in practice.
They got a big turnover on special teams last time out. Ended up leading to a touchdown that made it a 7-point game. Rider lead. Ouellette with the football. And doesn't get much that time, a yard or 2. It'll be a second down and long coming up here for the Riders with 2:01 on the clock in the fourth quarter.
This is
Winnipeg.
This is Cam Allen, the safety. This is what I mean about just playing the play now and trying to strip the ball in a running play. That's the safety. Should be deep in the middle against any pass threat, but he knows they're not going to pass on first down, so he's up at the line of scrimmage helping out on the tackle.
And he didn't get anything that time. This is 2nd and 10 coming up. The ball is spotted at the Saskatchewan 49. A big second down play coming up here for Trevor Harris and the Riders, and of course for that Bomber defense. Hoping to put the ball back in the hands of Zach Collaros one more time.
So Winnipeg used their timeout. They don't have another one, which means they also don't have a challenge.
Here we go. Labor Day Classic. Going to be a classic finish. Second down. Harris quickly to the right. It is caught. It's Keyshawn Johnson with Dietrich Nichols there, but Johnson has the big catch and a first down for the Riders.
Great route by Keyshawn Johnson. He runs this 2-cut like it's going to be a corner and then brings it back to the out. Timing is bang on there for Trevor Harris. It's out, it's the corner, and then it's back to the out. And watch the precision on this route from Keyshawn Johnson. The timing is there on the throw, and then he's going to come back towards the line of scrimmage right on the sideline. Big time play.
Clutch moment for Harris and the Rider offense, and Keyshawn Johnson now to the 48 of Winnipeg. First down and 10. Back in the hands of Ouellette. Puts his head down inside the 45. And that first down, running hard still, is A.J. Ouellette.
And borderline Brett Lawther field goal range if they elect to conservatively run the ball again on second down. If they don't get it, the Riders, do they send Lawther out there for the field goal attempt? I think Trevor's going to try and throw in this down.
Lawther's 1 for 1 in field goals, but missed an extra point. And on a later touchdown, the Riders went for 2, got that point back. 31-24, 2nd and 6 after that pickup by Ouellette. He is 89 on the ground. Quickly caught. No, Johnson. Nichols there. Looked like Johnson had it for the first down. Instead, the third is coming up. They're scrimmaging from the 44. Be about a 51-yarder.
That's a great play. Again, Keyshawn Johnson with precise route running, balls in his hands, but Dedrick Nichols, the veteran, 6 knockdowns coming in. That's maybe his biggest of the season to give his team a chance.
Now, Trevor Harris remains on the field. The offense is still out there, not the kicking team, on this 3rd down and 6 to go at the Winnipeg 44. Lawther stays on the sideline. Instead of going for a 51-yarder, which would effectively end the game, make it a 2-score game. Big 3rd down coming up here. And he's going to punt it. A little quick kick. And a good one it is for Harris as Nichols takes it down at the goal line and then gets tackled in the end zone.
They ruling that.
They award a safety? Romastelli coming in. They do. It's a safety. It's 2 points.
And they get the ball back.
And they get the ball back, and it's a 2-score game. A 9-point difference. How about that? Leaving the field goal unit off instead. That quick kick by Trevor Harris.
Well, Dedrick Nichols recovers it in the field of play, and then he's in on the 2-yard line and then carries the ball into the end zone and then doesn't get it out and is tackled behind that goal line.
The previous play is under review by the replay center.
Now they'll make sure, again, like the forward progress discussion we had earlier in the game, was he hit just outside of the goal line, or did he not get out?
It sure looked
what
like
they're reviewing.
Suits, it sure looked like he had possession of that ball heading into the end zone.
Oh, he did.
And that would be a safety for the Riders. They are looking at it, but it sure looks like 2.
Well, no. Okay, so there's 2 things here. One is, if your momentum carries you in there as you're recovering the ball, there's a little leeway there for Dedrick Nichols on that.
So saying he doesn't necessarily go into the end zone on purpose.
Exactly. He doesn't bring it back in.
Well, then this will be interesting. 2 points, 1 point. Here's the ruling.
Upon review by the replay center, the ball carrier momentum brought him into his own goal. By rule, this is a single point.
So 1, not 2, and it's important to because it remains a 1-score game. It's 8-point difference. Now, and Winnipeg gets the football up at their 40. That's a big difference, not calling it a safety.
Yeah, completely changes everything, because then it was a 2-possession game, and it basically game over because the Riders were going to get the ball back and have a 2-possession lead. Now it's a 1-possession game, and Winnipeg has the football.
Crowd doesn't like it. Picking up the noise. Clara's in the offense on Winnipeg. Well, they're down 8, but they still have a chance in this Labor Day Classic. Starting at the 40, 1:21 on the clock. Need a touchdown and a 2-point convert. Pressure, down he goes. Sacked again. Jameer Thurman coming in. A sea of green and white to make sure Collaros can't get the ball up.
Jameer Thurman will occasionally run these stunts where he's going B-gap or even A-gap with the defensive line. And Zach Collaros, in our meeting with him this week, talked about Jameer Thurman and his ability to blitz.
2nd down. Following the sack. Collaros steps up. Throws it down to the left. It's incomplete. Intended for Wheatfall. Good coverage there. Marcus Sales was there. We got a 3rd and 10 coming up. 3rd and long, excuse me, about 14 yards after that sack. And this will be it coming up for Winnipeg.
Yep, just got to keep getting a new set of downs and go down the sideline. Roland Milligan was closing quickly on that ball, too.
1:07 on the clock. 3rd and 14. The Riders have sacked Collaros 5 times.
bumping into him, and a flag for pass interference is coming out against Saskatchewan.
Now listen, there's no question to me that there's pass interference here. When I saw it live, there's a push by Jackson Ford well before the ball gets there.
Defensive pass interference, Saskatchewan number 21. The ball will be placed where the infraction occurred and a first down.
But I'll tell you what, number 10 did a real good job of slowing down on that route to create that contact. It's not, I mean, he didn't dive. It wasn't anything like that. It was just...
The ball will be placed at the 17-yard line.
It's point of foul, so it's where the foul occurred. It would be the 17-yard line. But you saw the subtlety from Dembski. He slows down on that deep route, the contact is created, and the penalty flag comes out.
Just when we think this classic won't come down in the final few seconds, it does. 58 seconds, under a minute. Bombers trailing by 8. They need to get to the end zone. Collaros picks it up and throws it to Oliveira underneath. He gets it down inside the 10. Close to another first down.
Yeah, lots of time here for Collaros to run these type of plays in the hand of a playmaker inside the 10.
Gets down to the 8. A 2nd and 1. 48 seconds. Here we go. And the short yardage carry. It'll be a 1st and goal coming up here for Winnipeg.
Now, Bombers need the major and the 2-point convert. They got 3 cracks in time to get 3 plays in inside the 10.
A year ago, the Riders were down 8. Got the touchdown, didn't get the 2, but got an onside kick and tried to get a winning field goal, but it came up short. Collaros again, 1st and goal! Touchdown, Winnipeg! And look who it is! Welcome back, Dalton Schoen. The Bombers are saying now, miss 6 weeks, get 6 points, 2 points away from tying this game.
Spatial awareness from Dalton Schoen. Where's the hole? I found it. Will my quarterback find me in the clutch? Absolutely. Milligan's got to be careful for any deep route behind him. That's why he's playing off. It's down to this.
Labor Day Classic finish. Again, 2-point difference. 30 seconds left. Just like a year ago. It's the other way around this time. The Bombers trying to tie it. Dramatic 2-point try. Collaros. Intercepted! Devon Campbell. He can score 2 for the Riders if he takes it all the way, and he will. They denied the 2. They'll score the 2. Campbell gets to the end zone, and we got a 4-point game. The Riders lead with 30 seconds to go.
Devon Campbell can fly. His closing speed is what makes him such a great DB. He closes on this. Zach Collaros thought he had an open receiver. That space disappeared in a split second, and look at him go. He is not getting caught from behind.
All the way back to the end zone to score 2 for Saskatchewan and make it a 4-point game. Another look here.
You know, I don't think it was the wrong guy to throw to. He just underestimated the speed and the closing ability of Devon Campbell.
And a year ago, when the Riders went for 2 and didn't get it, you see Collaros in pursuit, but to no avail. The Riders tried an onside kick with just seconds to go, and they succeeded in getting the ball. The difference being they were down 2 and had a chance to kick a field goal. And Mike O'Shea just sure can't believe it after how close the Bombers came.
Now they need an onside. They need the onside kick. And they'll still need a touchdown. A field goal's no good, of course, because of the return by Campbell to add 2 points to the Rider lead. Castile lining up. Hands team on. Winnipeg's got to get the ball back with a half minute to go. Castile puts it up. Whistle blows beforehand.
Prior to the ball being kicked, Saskatchewan called timeout.
Get a quick look. You got the timeout anyway. Get a quick look at what the formation was going to do in the cover team. That's what Corey Mace was doing there. And then he wants that front line to get in the way of the cover unit for the Bombers and allow a clear area for Keyshawn Johnson to make the recovery. But he wanted to know if Castile was going to switch his approach and maybe go to the backside, to the two-man side on the backside of the onside kick team.
Kent Bajiri, the special teams coordinator for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and some instructions.
There's Keyshawn Johnson down at the bottom. Mike Miller, special teams coordinator. There he is right there. That's Keyshawn. These guys have got to keep any cover man off of him.
Here we go. Castile putting it up. It's caught. It hits the turf, and it looks like the Bombers may have a shot at it here. Who gets it this time? Looked at first like it was caught, but it came out. This is like a schoolyard as they try to sort this out. Whose ball is it anyway?
Mike Miller.
Andre Prue says it's Rider ball.
Special teams coordinator Mike Miller anticipated the timeout and doesn't go to the outside kick. It's just a shorter kick closer to the interior. It's Milligan that takes it first, then he drops it. Clearly a fumble. Castile has a chance at it. It pops out. Then the fight is on. I know Jackson Ford, who had the PI call, was going crazy to try and get it out of there.
They were that close to getting this. Just like the Riders did on an onside kick a year ago in the same situation.
See, that close. I'm not sure, Rod, that ball would have gone 10 yards had it not been touched. But Milligan jumps up, and as long as he touches it, then it's a live ball.
And the Bombers can recover.
Exactly.
What a game. What a finish. Finally coming to a close. Victory formation for the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
And these two teams will do it all again in a week over in Winnipeg.
Cue up the Banjo Bowl at Princess Auto Stadium 6 days from now in Winnipeg. And these two will meet again as per tradition. But when you talk about Labor Day Classics, they certainly upheld the tradition in this one, didn't they? Clock ticking down. A labor-intensive game to be sure, and a classic, but the day belongs to the Saskatchewan Roughriders. They hung on as they'll run one more play and beat the rival Winnipeg Blue Bombers dramatically. What else would you expect?
That's what Canadian football is all about, and once again the players delivered. Right down to the wire. Tavon Campbell on a two-point convert takes it to the house.
A big 2 points, not only for Campbell and the Riders on the day, but in the standings as well. With Calgary playing Edmonton tomorrow, Saskatchewan and Harris improves to 9-2. There you go. The sign is made. A sign of what's to come? We'll see. Next week, these two teams do it all again. Can't do it much better than this. Once again, a Labor Day Classic lives up to the name. And it's the second time in 3 years the Riders have won it this time. We're just getting started. 2 more tomorrow. Argos, Ticats in Hamilton, Elks, Stampeders at McMahon Stadium in Calgary. First 2 touchdowns of the career of Mario Anderson. As the Riders grind it out. Thanks for watching this Labor Day Classic. SportsCenter is next. Have a great night, everybody.
Everybody take a deep breath after that one. Duncan and Scooby with you on another Labor Day Classic between these two teams. On this day, it feels like both of these squads can't play a bad football game.
Goes back to 1982, this Labor Day Classic rivalry. They've failed to play it just twice. And I mean, I speak for everyone. We're looking forward to the Banjo Bowl next week and for the other 2 games that are coming up tomorrow. But first things first, recapping what went down in this one here tonight. 60th chapter of the Labor Day Classic. The last 3 games have been decided by just 2 points. Zach Collaros has a 7-1 record in his career on Labor Day weekend. In the first quarter, he's airing it out. And it's Kevin's Clearsius coming down and making the grab. 51-yard gain. The drive continues into the second quarter where it's Brady Oliveira taking the handoff. He's in there for the touchdown. His 3rd in the last 3 games. He's heating up. 7-0 Bombers. Still before the half. It's now 10-7, but the Riders are driving.
Riders down by 3. Late first half. Throwing here.
Trevor Harris to Tommy Neal's 69-yard catch and run. The Riders grab that lead from the Bombers at 14-10 at the break. Let's go to the 3rd. After the Riders kicked a field goal to stretch that lead to a touchdown, it's Collaros rolling to Nick Dembski, 22-yard score. Dembski's 6th catch of the game already, closing in on the 100-yard mark. That ties the game up. We are still in the 3rd quarter, final 30 seconds. A.J. Ouellette getting a breather, so here comes Mario Anderson, and there goes Mario Anderson, 26 yards for his first career CFL touchdown. The Riders miss the extra point, up by 6. Same score, now in the 4th. Oliveira takes the handoff, but there goes the football. The Riders recover, take over in great field position. 4 plays after that, it's Anderson rumbling in once again. The Riders added the 2-point conversion, so they're up by 2 touchdowns, a 14-point game, but it's not over yet. 4 minutes to go. Collaros steps up, finds Carrick Wheatfall, and that cuts the lead to 7. Back and forth we go, and then things got very interesting. It's 3rd down in the final couple of minutes. That's Trevor Harris with the punt. Dietrich Nichols recovers. He's in the end zone, and he's tackled. Now, they originally called this a safety. They did review this, and it was ruled that his momentum took him into the end zone, so no safety, but a single, an important single point because it's still a 1-possession game. Bombers with the ball. It's 3rd down, and Collaros going deep for Dembski, but Jackson Ford all over him. Pass interference is called, and the Bombers would convert. It's Dalton Schoen, missed 6 weeks, and he's got the big 6 points. This was the 2-point conversion, but yeah, Devon Campbell has other ideas. No one's going to catch him. And that's how important that single was. It ended up being a 4-point win for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, 34-30. There was the onside kick. We weren't sure for a while who recovered that, but it all ends up being another win for the Roughriders, who now match their win total from all of last season. They're 9-2. They went 9-8-1 a year ago. Saskatchewan has now won 5 of their last 6 games, winning for just the 3rd time in their last 15 against the Bombers. And again, we can't wait to watch the rematch next week, Saturday. It's the Banjo Bowl back in the Peg. Let's hear now from Tavon Campbell. Had that big pick 2, we're going to call it. Here he is with Britt Dort.
Well, Tavon, it turned out that your play was the one that helped seal this game. Walk me through it.
I mean, it was just a simple switch between me and my half. Me and Fields talked before. We knew it was coming, so it was just on me to, get the low guy, catch the ball, go 110 or 100, whatever it is. I was tired, though.
Well, you wouldn't know it. When Winnipeg was in that final drive of theirs, getting closer, what was the message on the defense?
Lock in. Like, this is where it matters, right? It's 30-32. They're going for 2 points. We got to lock in. Like, this is do or die right now. We don't want to go in overtime. We don't want to put any indecision in there. So, yeah, it's just lock in.
To know that you have to go to their house in just 6 days and do this all over again, what can you take from this one into that matchup?
I mean, we're going to go back, look at the film, but we just got to stop the deep balls and just execute, man. Just play our defense, play Rider football.
Thanks so much, Simon.
I appreciate you.
Keep the post-game reaction going. New on SC Now. Here is Trevor Harris.
Well, Trevor, it was a game that was expected to come down to the wire. So what do you think about the way your team was able to hold on tonight?
Well, they don't call it the Labor Day Classic for nothing. You know, shoot, last year was a 2-point game. This year, 4, almost a 2-point game. And, you know, there's always things that we wish we could have done a little bit differently to close the game out a little earlier. But that's a championship medal team, and so we'll take it. It's a big win for us, and we just got to win 9, and we've got to lick our wounds, come back quick, and be ready to play them again here in 6 days.
Well, we did get to see a new skill set from you out there tonight. Tell us what was going through your mind on the little trick play when you were 3rd and 6 and you decided to kick the ball, and as they were reviewing it.
Yeah. I mean, I did it in college a few times, which is unfortunately about 20 years ago-ish, and something I've been able to do. And so they asked me if I could do it, and I was like, yeah. And so we put it in, and just as a weapon to have in a situation like that. And I was glad they had the faith in me, but they just took my word that I could do it. And so glad we were able to get it, but almost got the safety, but we'll take the single there.
Well, what can you take from this matchup to carry into next week? Because it's probably expected to be another close one against Winnipeg in their house.
You know, we just got to see how they were trying to attack us, and they're going to watch how we were trying to attack them, and we'll make adjustments. And the chess match, the game within the game, is always the fun part of football. And so we'll make our adjustments and come back and play a great game. Hopefully in Winnipeg, it should be a good one though.
Thanks for this one, Trev.
Thank you.
So the Riders now with a little bit of breathing room when it comes to the Wild West standings. 4 points up now on Calgary. Again, Calgary in action tomorrow as part of our doubleheader going up against Edmonton. Winnipeg now falling to 6-5. With the Lions just 1 game behind them in the standings. It is going to be a fantastic race to the playoffs in the West. With more, let's turn it over to Catherine Burness and the panel.
Alongside Enoch, Wamba, Davis, Sanchez, Milt, Stiegel, and Neal, few things in life are guaranteed, but what I can now say is great games on Labor Day weekend seem to be guaranteed each and every year. It kicks off with an absolute fantastic matchup, and with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, they had a glorious opportunity at the end of this game, 30 seconds to go. Zach Collaros with the chance of the 2-point convert, but the Sask D, which had been good all game long, they were able to make a big play, and I love what you guys were saying. They weren't dominant in the game, but they made big plays when it mattered most, Mel.
And that's all that matters. Yes, they'll go back and look at the film and look at the stat and say, yes, we have a lot of areas to clean up in. But when it was time to make plays, that's exactly what they did. Tavon Campbell with the biggest play of the game, this 2-point conversion didn't allow Winnipeg to tie it up, to possibly take it in overtime and have a chance to win. So these guys are fortunate, not fortunate, but excited that they got the win because they didn't play a great game defensively. They did some good things offensively, and yes, that defensive line did get after Zach and cause him to make some bad throws and put some pressure on him, but they know they can play a better brand of defense and a better brand of game if they come out next week and have a better game. So good for the Saskatchewan Roughriders for winning this game, but the Winnipeg Blue Bombers got to try to find a way to bounce back next week.
What a great ending. But I'm disappointed because I didn't learn anything. What is this game? I learned about these two teams, and then after that, I still don't know who a better football team is. Looking at that game, Winnipeg went in there to Sask in a tough environment, and I thought played them pretty tough. And I thought if Winnipeg had a little more time, the way things are going back and forth, I don't think Sask was going to stop them. And that was probably, the scary part. You talked about the defenses. Yes, they both got stops at times, but both teams put us on pretty big numbers. The key for me was Sask's running game. The fact that they were able to stick to it, to stick with AJ. He had 8. I mean, Brady only had, how many carries did Brady have? 5 carries. If you're Winnipeg, you got to rush Brady some more. I thought 18 carries for AJ Ouellette. I thought Mark Mueller did a great job of sticking to that run game because we saw the pressure that that Trevor faced last week against Calgary. And the thing they needed to do for sure was get the run game going, take some of that pressure off Trevor. Even the first half, Trevor was getting pressure with just 3- and 4-man pressures sticking with A.J. Ouellette was the difference for the Sask offense.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about what you learned, Ches. You got to talk about the fact that we came into this game knowing that Saskatchewan was the best team in the league, and yes, they came out on top. So yes, they remained the same. But at the same time, when you look at the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, you can't come into this type of game and this magnitude of a game and come and have make mistakes. Yes, it wasn't too crucial, but you can't come in here and shoot yourself in the foot and make those types of mistakes. For Zach Collaros, you go next week, you say, hey, look, we can play as well as we played tonight, but we don't make the mistakes that we do. Maybe we end up with the win. And so you look at yourself in the mirror, you make less mistakes as well. And one of the things that we did learn as well, Clarcius is a guy that they can rely on, right? And so we thought it was going to be Dalton Schoen, but Clarcius stepped up, and maybe next week he has the same type of game, less mistakes, you have a different result.
I'm with you, too. I'm scratching my head of why Brady wasn't used more in this game.
Yeah.
Saskra run game was fantastic, and this will be fascinating next week. We get round 2 in the Banjo Bowl. In the meantime, this just game 1 of 3 when it comes to Labor Day weekend. Can't wait for the next 2.
All right, well, let's hear now from Blue Bombers head coach Mike O'Shea. He is new on SC.
How crazy was that?
Well, it was great. Great battle. I mean, nobody in here likes the outcome, right? None of our fans do. But if you're talking about the game itself, it's a hell of a game.
Things really turned. You got that 10-zip lead, and then they went on a 31-7 run or something like that. What did you see going on there, and how did the momentum feel at that point?
Well, we went into the half down 4. We traded touchdowns, I think, in the third, and they got another one right there, right? So, you know, from my tabulation, both teams had an explosive play. Both teams turned the ball over in the red zone. They score a touchdown. We get a field goal out of that one. You know, up until that last 2-point, we're now even again with the takeaways. I thought our defense did a great job in the first quarter. You know, they got the wind, and we basically shut them down pretty well. I thought it was a great battle.
Some credit for never giving up, I guess, right?
Yeah, it's pro football. These pro athletes, they shouldn't be wired that way. You know.
You look at the end of the game, you're chasing that, you're down by a touchdown. You look earlier, you go for the 9 or 10-yard field goal. The end of the half, you didn't get the first down on that second, I think it was inches. Maybe the first one, the play call to go for that field goal so early, to go for that chip shot field goal so early rather than trying to get there.
It's 2 yards, right? It's 3rd and 2, so they turn the ball over, we're going to take points, right? We're not going to. All points are good points at that point, right? Puts us up 10-0.
You think about it, though, given, you know, obviously this is going to be a tight game.
Yeah, I know exactly. If we get it to 1, yeah. But not 2.
Yeah. What about the end, near one of the last drives in the half where you're facing a 2nd and 1, Zach gets sacked, Sergio misses a 50-yarder, and we have 41 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, we're 2nd and 1. We're going to...
Inches, actually, I think.
Yeah, we're going to... Be aggressive. This is a good team we're playing against. Well, you know, you can't just.
How can you say be aggressive on the second one? You can't just be aggressive on the first.
2 yards versus inches.
Yeah.
There's aggressiveness and there's stupidity, right? So, and it points in the game where we're at, where the score is. Right? It all factors in.
Yeah. So when you go for it on inches, when you throw the ball on inches, you're thinking, you've it complete, you got 3rd and inches. No doubt the sack's the last thing you're thinking, of course. Yeah.
Sure. Mike, in your mind, what's the difference in this then? What separates winning from losing?
Well, we battled back from it, so it's hard to pinpoint. We had a tough go at the beginning of the 4th where we converted, took a penalty. We're 2nd and long, and then we give the ball up, right? Yep. So I think if we survive that with a punt or we convert without taking the penalties, I think it's it'll be a different ballgame. But they're going to have things they say, too, that they would have wanted done differently, right? Mm-hmm. It's a 4-point game. We almost get the onside kick. Sergio's got it, gets ripped out from under the pile, right? Otherwise, we're in business again with 28 seconds left. All right, so, I mean, that's a great game, once again. Nobody's satisfied with that. Don't take it the wrong way, please. They battled right to the very end.
Can you explain that rule with
Well, if you thought tonight was fun, 2 more games still to go. Labor Day weekend continues on Monday. It's the QEW series. It's the Battle of Alberta. The Tabbies have won 4 in a row in the series. Well, Edmonton, in the basement of the West, but they won 3 straight games. Looking forward to this one. 2 p.m. Eastern time is when we hit the airwaves.